What's up, y'all? Ba-na, 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 ba-na. Da-na-na, da-na, da. Ba-na, ba-na, da-na. I can't remember what that song is, bro. Going inside again. Does anybody know what song that is? I would kill to remember that song. Dun 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 dun. Ba-na, 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 ba-na. Ba-na, ba-na, ba-na. Hey, Sneaky. Had a great reminder of your birthday stream. Yeah, it was like one of the best birthdays I've had in a long time. Yesterday was kind of hit or miss. I had more work than I wanted on my quote unquote day off, but the actual birthday itself was super fun. Stayed up way too late playing Overwatch with friends, but it was fun. Hey, sirs. Okay. Okay, I'm serious. I'm going to lose my mind if I can't figure out what this song is. Dun, 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 dun. I ping my Discord too. Hang on. Hit my all companions stream plus some discussion stuff. Let's. Okay. Do I even have any more memes that I haven't already posted yet? This one is pretty funny. If you guys jump over in my Discord, I did the Discord ping one. It kills me, man. Dude, check this out. Dude. Oh my days. I am weak. Apologize if this is up, man. I just go not stop laughing. Karaoke stream until somebody guesses the song. Legit, dude. Honestly, I feel like it's a Blink 182 song. I'm pretty sure. No, it's not this one. Maybe it's not. No, shoot. What is it, guys? No, shoot. What is it, guys? Wait, where's my guitar? I'm making my guitar. S. This thing goes like, you can't inside again. Some again. Please, does anybody know? crap, I'm losing my brain. I'm going crazy. Lauren Hill got some fire song you can play on the guitar. Yeah, I can't remember. It's like something like something about like starting. I don't remember, bro. It's like a punk rock song kind of a thing. Use this. How use the start pattern? Wait. Fascinating the desired rhythm. What is that song? I don't know, bro.
I have no idea. He was trying to get a beat there.
Crap! I don't know, man. I'm gonna lose my brain. It's like the. All right. Well, I guess Overwatch League started, so we got to go. Maybe we'll try it again later. But yeah, it was a pretty sick birthday. All right, companion stream time. I'm gonna turn off desktop audio so you guys can turn the game on and won't have to hear it double. Well, actually, no, I don't know if I can do that because I actually have to put my headphones on here. Scythio, thanks for this. Hey, yo, Scythia, how you doing, brother? Fun, thanks for the sub. What do you think about comps this season? Like in competitive or in Overwatch League overall this season? I don't have my second monitor set up just yet. You guys have to be patient for me. What's the mainstream? Just check on Overwatch League. Just look up Overwatch League. It's the live stream. All right, I think we're good to go. Foo Fighters Learn to Fly. Okay, so this quality is terrible. 1440, man. Sorry for the delay. Sorry if I messed up your sync, y'all, but it was like 480. Orisa, I'm gonna turn the audio on my end down a little bit as well. Sojourn May, Jungle Queen Bap Lucio, Sim Genji. It's just basically hybrid brawl comps. Symmetra's pretty strong right now. And Symmetra's also fairly strong versus Orisa as well, because obviously you can charge the beam through the Spen, so you can do damage straight through her. Ultimate is super busted, and as dive heroes like Tracer have kind of fallen out of meta a little bit, it's a little bit more attractive to play characters like that. Now, you could ask, why aren't they playing Mei? I think the reason why teams have migrated a little bit away from Mei is that as like usual, it's like you got to think it's 4 steps ahead. Because Orisa is a little bit stronger, Mei is not that great versus Orisa. Like you can wall off and force a cooldown, but it's harder to get as much of an advantage out of a wall on Orisa as there is on the other tanks. And the other thing too as well is that like if they're running something with a little bit of mobility, they can just go around the wall. How viable is Kiriko? With Vancouver's comp, not that viable, actually. Not bad, but again, the Symmetra and Kiriko just have kind of anti-synergy. We talked about this when we were looking at the Boston Uprising match, but like Kiriko could work, but not if you're running Symmetra. So you will see some teams running like jokes with Genji. Kiriko is really good with that. but the Symmetra needs the bat pocket, the lamp, the shift, and whatever. So if you're playing with the Symmetra, you need the BAP as well. Honestly, not even a bad trade there. That's an ult for an ult. Oh no, he's dead. That's actually a crazy shot by Fitz. But yeah, I mean, if the thing with the Vancouver's comp is their ult economy is just so freaking strong. Like, there's so many powerful ultimates that you can use. You know what I'm saying? BAP window is a little bit out of place, but Genji Symbol is like really, 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 really good. You think Cookie from EXO can make L? I don't know. I've heard his mechanics are really good, but the problem is with mechanics is mechanics are not as objective as you think. So like sometimes people can look better than they are just because the people they're playing versus aren't quite as good. But yeah, he is really good. Yeah. The problem with Winston isn't just the Orisa Bastion, it's also the fact that Iari is like really popular, so Iari just has like no synergy with Winston at all. Kitsune Rush, there's the BAP window in the off angle. This is actually going to be real. I was going to say, like, this setup from Vancouver is like busted. All right, I'm going to be, guys, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. You know what I'm going to say it. Obviously, with the Coach of the Year, shenanigans, and it's hard to really know who deserves it and who doesn't deserve it, and like we don't have an inner insight. I think that Askoff for Vancouver is easily second place for me for Coach of the Year. I just think the number of like times that we've seen Vancouver kind of overperform, the amount of cohesion this team has been able to find, the overall macro setup as well. I think the players, and I think it doesn't say for sure that Askoff, but I think Askoff has probably had a lot to do with Vancouver's success. Well, obviously I win first place. I'm saying like dark horse besides me. But I think Askoff has as much of an argument as anybody besides Gunba. And Gunba, I think, probably is just going to be straight up the win. But besides Gunba, I think like Askoff has really done a good job with Vancouver. I think you can honestly argue that New York has done a fairly decent job at points in time too. It's just so hard to know, you know. It's too easy to just be like, oh, this team overperforms, therefore Coach of the Year. But you know, it's hard to know. Titans, you like the gatekeeper team? Yeah. They've looked good. Chat. Let's play a song. Coach Me Daddy Spilo? No. Wait. Oh crap, I haven't played this in years. Oh my gosh, you're right. It's Pierce the Veil. Yo! Okay, I don't care if I'm going to get copyright struck here. I'm going to kiss you on the mouth. I think you're right. Wait, I'm going to turn on. I don't know why that like literally just appeared in my brain. How did you find it? Thanks, Razor. It's just a nice punk song. It's nothing crazy, but I like it. How did you find it? But how? Like I had the key right, and I had the chord progression right. It's like a G sharp sus. No, it's not. I didn't have the key right. It's yeah. Yeah, I see. Yeah. So it's the Google Assistant. Play some Radiohead. I don't know a lot of Radiohead songs. I like some Radiohead songs, but I don't know how to play them. Maybe I could learn one. I don't know Creep as well. I can tune my ear, but I hate it. What do I know? Jajawa, thanks for the sub. What do I know? It's a good question. We're working on doing a little folk EP, Pepper and I. What's up? You guys ready for the sharp? Map starting? Got it. I need to get my tuner as well. Because I'm like, I can tune my ear like good enough, but not perfectly. But the problem is that I can hear it if it's not perfect, but I can't tune it, so it just drives me out the wazoo. I'm good enough to hear it when it's not perfect, but I'm not good enough to actually make it perfect. How to play there, Hey There, Delilah? That's pretty easy. I think I could. Faith DPS. Probably May. No, I don't know what would he play. Torb? No. Bastion time, I think. I bet it's Bastion. Probably Bastion.
New York's comp is just naturally going to work better here as well, right?
TP to point with Bastion. Maybe? Yes! Yes! Let's go! Ah! Let's go. Okay, let's go. They're cooking. They are in current. Yes, they are. They are in current patch. Yes. Ooh. So let's talk about the comp that Vancouver's on. Basically, they're looking to try and rotate, apply some sort of point pressure, some sort of spam angle. And what the Bastion does is he can obviously melt DPS and supports if he gets close, but he could do pretty well versus Orisa if she doesn't have Javelin. Like even 4 to 5 melts pretty quickly. Faith doesn't play the Iari, so you put Sugar Free on Iari, and then you have your other DPS just kind of like an off-angling like spam hero. I like how New York are playing it though. New York are gatekeeping this angle really hard. They're not letting the Bastion rotate for free. They're just like taking the entire map away because that's what the Torb can do. The Torb has that speed, that mobility. So I don't give Vancouver a comp advantage here. I just somehow, I think they executed on the plan there. I'm actually kind of surprised. Oh, Sugar Free's dead. Oh, no, he's not dead. That was actually crazy from Vancouver. I did not like their comp. I did not like their comp. So I think the Sigma is really good. The Sigma is really good because the Sigma is just the basic counter pick to the Orisa and does very well versus the spam. And there's nothing crazy or new with that. But yeah. Has Iliari been a must pick an owl lately? No, actually. Iliari has been the meta definer where her ability to deal a dual dive DPS has been, but people have been, a lot of teams have been counter picking the Iliari. And I think you guys might see some of that this week. You will see a lot of Iliari. You will see her have a very high pick rate, but not all teams play her. She's not a must pick. She's a must play around, but not a must pick. Counter picking with who? You'll have to wait and see. But let's put it this way. It's something that we've talked about on stream before. In fact, the owl analysis, think Flashpoint. Flashpoint is a little bit of a way of approaching it. It doesn't necessarily mean the Flashpoint heroes, but the Flashpoint strategy. Torbolt is pretty good. It's going to force a nice little bit of a split. There's the Bastion Orisa BAP ult, but that's wasted, sadly. Callan positions well around it. And I really like how New York are playing this. So they're going to have to... They're going to have to find a way to clear off that left angle. They're not going to be able to push point anymore. Now, I will say that once Vancouver figured out the angle importance on last point, they cleaned it up really fast. So I think that's... Assuming they don't get picked... Oh, they do get a kill there. That's huge. He saying goes Torp. Which makes sense. You're just not getting much space to do anything, so highest damage hero does fine. And you can't run a flanker because Iliari, so I think doing Torb is probably the better pick here. Psycho on the flank. Will they deal with the flank? Yes, they will. Well, also, we forgot that Fitz died last fight, too, so that means that New York loses some space. Will Vancouver look for a push up top right? They might try to push with Iliari ultimate. That's a huge kill there. The trade is whatever. Here comes the Orisa ult. And pull it. And that's good, yeah. So New York is doing a really good job last few fights, just kind of holding Vancouver from preventing them from taking any space. And the problem with Faith on Bastion is Bastion's pretty strong. It's not like a hero that you necessarily always have to swap off of, but Faith is totally locked in. There's nothing else that Faith will play here. The good news is that we have Flux and Iliari ultimate, which both are very powerful to clear high ground. They're both very good at controlling space. So I'm curious to see if... Yeah, so there it is. They win that flank towards that. Totally fine to use ult like that. Really crazy response, though. Again. And that's it. Just maybe a little bit of impatience there from Sugar Free. Maybe a little bit of that DPS mindset. But, like, the play there to solo ult and clear was fine. Like, that's all Vancouver needed. But they just needed to not die immediately afterwards. We call it the snapback, right? Where you start off at an advantage, the enemy team responds, and you mess up your response, and then you end up being paid for it, right? Flux, Torbolt, will they clear the angle? They're having a really hard time clearing this angle out. Will they Flux? They're trying to like leverage Punk on Cart. Oh, Crimzo just dies. They're trying to use Sigma on Cart, Sigma on Cart because he is pretty hard to push out. But now Crimzo's dead, so now Punk is going to be dying relatively soon as well. And the angles, guys, the angles. What do you think of teams running the Sig instead of the Orisa? I think the Sig is really quite good versus what New York is running. Very good. Not the problem here. Vancouver's comp hasn't even been that bad. It's just been the execution has been very hard, and / New York has played it really, 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 really well. Just no chance to take any space. They had to find a way to clear out the angle. They were unable to do the entirety of the attack.
On the face of the Titans, because they know the Gladiators facility, it's wailing and gnashing of teeth right now. It's the Titans to win this game.
So I mean, you have an opportunity here as well on defense, right? Like Bastion, Torb with the.
We'll probably see something similar for Vancouver's defense as well. I imagine they'll probably even start with the Sigma on defense. You're not going to get counterpicked by a Winston or whatever from New York. It's not going to happen. I don't think. I mean, it could, but I don't think it will. So we'll probably see something like a Sigma Torb, Iliari Bap, something like that. Torb just because he's pretty dynamic, pretty flexible. And yeah, there it is. Torb is not... Torb is like a safe pick, is what it is. Right. You're going to notice that like the reason Torb is like... Torb, Soldier, Genji are essentially the tracer of previous metas, where they're using them as like the off-angle control or the off-angle pressure. But because Tracer's so weak, you need something with mobility that has some sort of pressure. Genji, a little bit better versus Iliari. Soldier, a little bit more sustained, a little bit more range. Torbjorn, he has his overload, he has a little bit more poke. So you have to have something that fills the void of the composition, and for most of the time, it's been Torb.
This is a lot of damage though for New York to walk into, right? Like to try and like get to the point and kind of traverse around. We've seen teams like kind of go through the alleyway and just get blown up.
Sojourn, because relatively easy to build rail. There's the notice. By the way, notice the Torbjorn marking the angle. Will New York respond to it? Oh, he's going to need lamp. Counter push from Punk on the opposite side. They get the lamp as well. So both teams trading on the choke. Creative is unable to rotate, ends up dying for it. Sugar Free gets caught and gets rotated on. So basically diving backlines here, trading backlines. But the difference is that New York have actually gotten out of the choke. So it's spooky. 2 kits out towning. That's a kite on the BAP window. Phenomenal job from New York there. You love this trade, and as long as you could survive in there a little bit longer, Creative is almost back. Now Callan's back. There's the response. They really don't want to throw it at the Sigma. They do have to throw it at Sigma because nobody else is available, and they kill Punk as a result. Well, pretty well played from New York so far here, and now they're able to take the map, and that's going to give Shockwave a huge advantage. Like, the thing with this Sojourn is it's like not only does she build rail pretty easily, but think about it from like a Sojourn, like in a 1v1 perspective. I don't want to 1v1 a Hanzo. I don't really want to 1v1 a Widow. I don't really want to 1v1 a Genji necessarily. I can still shift out. But like Torb and Bastion are so freaking fat that it's like it's actually not even that bad to 1v1 those characters as the Sojourn. So I think it's as simple as that. It's also better on... What's up, Rob? Nice, dude. Welcome back. It's also because, hey, Sojourn ult powerful. Widowmaker swap. Pretty good at this point. I think if you're Vancouver, you need to kind of roll the die a little here. So I think this is okay. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw occasional Widowmaker on some points because of how slow things have gone. That's a couple of huge shots onto Kellen. It's going to force things back here. Now, the problem with Vancouver, though, is because New York has... Torb and Orisa ult and BAP window. There's a lot of tools to be able to force cart and just win cart straight up. Whereas Vancouver really only has the Flux and the Iliari ultimate. There's the Torb. We're going to see Torb ult here relatively soon. There's the Flux. They open with Flux early. Probably smart from Vancouver. I don't think you want to give New York time to set up, because if they get time to set up, it's pretty much over. Because you're sitting up on cart, right? You're sitting on cart. So they have all the position in the world. Vancouver needs to try and get out of here, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's really his only job, right? Is to potentially
take
these players out on the high ground, because he can't really contribute to the fight underneath. It does get...
We'll probably see Bastion ult next from Vancouver. There's the Iliari ultimate and BAP window, actually, first. Then the Bastion ult. So they're committing a lot here. Huge shot from Shockwave. It does kill the Torb, as it is a good kill. Forces Shockwave out. Will they be able to keep Punk up? They hit Crimzo, and that's going to be it for New York. New York win this one.
territory.
Yes, New York.
Vancouver looks like they're having such a good time.
Position looks much better in comparison to
Colorado is beating TCU.
the Titans, but the Titans do
Is that an upset?
interesting
I guess it's a bit of an upset. TCU's gotten a little better the last few years.
We're not over the moon about the Ilari pick, which has no final blows, sugar-free, 0-7. Fitz is 5-4 on the Ilari.
But yeah, Sugar Free did jack all. I'm not gonna lie with you all. That's a good point by the main cast. Didn't really do much. Didn't really do much there. Oh gosh. Ugh. We got our. Oh, I need to get my tuner. That's right. Hang on, give me a second, y'all. I can't find it. All right, I got it. But yeah, I think the problem with the current meta is because, like, it's not the problem with the current meta is not Illari denying dive. The reason why this meta is not as interesting to watch is because that the DPS that are also got buffed along with Illari's release are not that interesting to watch. Specifically Torb Bastion. I think Orisa as well didn't really get buffed, but kind of got buffed. So it also just doesn't help that Illari can't like heal anything mobile, so it's definitely not one of the most fun. Flame, thanks for the sub. Where's streamer? Old man wandered off again. Bro, you can't even spell wandered off like wondered correctly. Wait. So it's like the problem with this meta is not Illari. It's the other stuff that got changed at the same time. And remember when we talked about like the blacklist of Overwatch meta? I think this falls into that category. I think if Torb, Bastion in their current states are meta, and Orisa as well to an extent, I think you really need to like do some more emergency changes, which hopefully are coming soon. I hope that Owl like mirrors Life Patch. I know it's a bit of a hot take, but for viewership. Wandered is the correct spelling in over 2022. Wait. Where's that? It's the Paul McCartney. I feel that E is out. Floyd? No. I think you're free. Sounds off, bro. What's up, Lars? These strings are still kind of newish, so they stretch a little bit, so I'll tune it, and then like a few seconds later it... Carried by Pepper in your last album, yeah. Dude, that is sharp as your mother. Yo, I'm being trolled by my tuner, bro. replied to me in Quick Play the other day? It was you? I don't know what you're talking about. Fake news, man. Fake news. Better. The Paul McCartney thing I was doing earlier was Call Me Maybe. What do you think he was played the best in Boston this season? I'm kind of tempted to say Bird Ring. Yeah, I mean, Bird Ring's been pretty good. Yeah, I haven't watched it. I honestly didn't watch a lot. I think Bird Ring's played fairly well. Obviously, Twilight's played pretty well. I would say not Li Gong. I think Smurf's done pretty well as well. I mean, Boston are phenomenal. So, like, it's hard for me to narrow one. What? I do like Call Me Maybe. It's not bad for a pop song. There he goes. All right. Flashpoint time. No! Okay, that's fine. Am I on the right scene? Yeah, I'm on the right scene. All right, we're going to go.
In the past, right?
Yes.
All right, Lucio Speed.
Genji's just not a...
Vancouver runs the Soldier, which we talked about. I don't like as much in anything that resembles dive, but the Soldier has potential in the more poke-oriented things because it's more like consistent range pressure than Sojourn. New York's comp is unusual, but plays into strengths. The Mei is pretty clearly not just to, wall off tank, kill tank, because on a map like this, the chokes aren't good enough to justify that. But Psycho's really good on the Mei. You can force shout with a wall. You can still do a lot of range pressure. So it's just generally just a good comfort pick thing. And I think the thing probably goes with the BAP as well. Now, I want to be very clear. Vancouver's composition, you could run Kiriko. And I imagine that teams that didn't have Crimzo on the roster would be running Kiriko. But Crimzo is a good BAP. Crimzo is probably not as comfortable on the Kiriko. But you notice that we don't need the BAP as long as we don't have to pocket the other DPS. What range do I sing? So it's obviously a phenomenal range. Sojourn Mei, BAP Lucio Orisa. The Soldier's going like major flank mode. He has to be careful here because now that the heal station is gone, the next time he peeks, you see right there, they're pushing him, right? You see that? Like, I mean, it's just not super well timed. He needs to be, ladies and gentlemen, Spylo fundamentals a little bit later with that peak. I don't dislike that high risk, high reward play, but when high risk, high reward, you got to be late. He was early, not late, and we don't love it. Spylo Scream. Thank you. Ask ChatGPT what they should play. Yeah, Taylor Swift deserves nothing. Taylor Swift is just a talented product, but she is not a very good musician. I personally don't have much respect for the music that she puts out. But she's good at what she does. She's one of the best, and maybe honestly one of the best ever when it comes to building a brand and putting out Building, I think, one of the best ever. You have to give credit where credit's due. One of the best ever.
So see the point will unlock here in two. Blade coming through. Nice.
Phenomenal trade from Sugar Free there. Beat and window. New York will get point cap, though. That's going to open up a counter window here. New York knows this, so tries to counter rotate. Doesn't matter, though. The rotation is fast enough from Vancouver, and they also get the flip. So best case scenario for Vancouver there, besides getting a pick, obviously. And then now New York's in a really rough spot because they could Sojourn ult in, or Orisa ult. Oh, they actually catch the Sojourn with Visor. But Faith would have a beat advantage to push in with really unusual Blizzard there. Not the play there. 7v7 Overwatch kiosk at the mall for 25 cents. Yeah, so now Vancouver, pretty solid ult advantage here. In terms of like the rock, paper, scissors, like Sojourn ult is not as good into beat. Orisa ult is too inconsistent versus Vancouver's composition, so I think Vancouver just have the better ults for the matchup right now. So it's really on Shockwave to maybe get a kill. They don't get it, there's the beat, and that's it. I'm surprised that Kellen even uses the ult here. Like, it's very clearly lost. As soon as Shockwave pops ult and doesn't immediately get a kill, and the beat goes off, and then you lose one, it's over. It's over. And Necros.
On the other side, so a big trek across the map here. I'm curious, how does New York decide to play this? They want to like cut them off.
So Vancouver does dump the ult bank though. BAP windows will be traded. New York will benefit a little bit more from the Mei on this particular point. Honestly, the previous point wasn't bad for me either, just because it's a little bit more choke oriented. They catch the Genji and Soldier on the flank. These guys can be poked out, though, which is going to force him out. There's deflect and dash. OG, ooh, nice harpoon. I don't know if he was even aiming for them, but that's going to give them point flip because basically AFK. Oh, I spoke too soon. They do get the point flip, though. I'm a little surprised at the blade, though. I am a little surprised at the blade. Don't feel like that one was necessary, given the advantage, the point flip, and the man advantage. How does Junker Queen play to Orisa? You could just poke her a little bit, but the reason you're playing Junker Queen here is because of the shout and the threat that you could put onto the enemy DPS. It's also a hero pick thing. Punk is a really, really good Junker Queen, so you're not playing the Junker Queen into the Orisa specifically, you're playing the Junker Queen into the Orisa comp, if that makes sense. Early BAP window. Fails. Really nice disengage from New York there. That one's going to hurt. You're going to see New York flip around to the other side of the map. Will he be able to get a good angle for Visor? But New York has the beat advantage here, so Vancouver has to... Crimso's got to be super careful. Crimso's got to be super careful because they are looking for him right now. Well, what? Hello? What just happened there? That's a huge misplay. I don't know what happened there. Kellen just died. Kellen just freaking died. I don't even... They must have messed up a rotation there.
About that position that he's saying is in, right? Like, if he was playing the Sojourn, like, it is much easier for kind of Kellen to move in, take that point, right?
Yes. Thank you, chat. Sorry.
Pressure from the 76, that becomes a little bit of a nuisance.
So huge misplay from New York there. Just basically gifts Vancouver that one. They're going to push really hard. I'm surprised they're pushing this hard. I don't know if they're trying to beat or not. Maybe they were focusing Lucio there. But really, New York could just beat in right now and win this fight if they even need to. So Vancouver goes for a cheese play because they know they have an ult disadvantage. They're going to try and figure something out. It doesn't work. And so they end up losing it pretty handily. It's kind of unfortunate, but yeah, it is what it is.
It'll be New York getting control.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't even say the Junker Queen is optimal versus the Orisa, but it's fine. It's fine. It can work. Psycho goes Genji. I like the Genji. I also like the Genji on this particular point. I think Mei is quite bad here. Too much space, so that the Mei is not as useful. Soldier on the flank. He's saying much more disciplined with his positioning now. There's going to be a beat engage. New York responds with a result. The beat needs to be there. The beat is late. The Junker Queen ult is used in response to the Junker Queen ult. It feels like a fight there that New York could have just lost and been over with. Yo, AJ, thanks for the raid, mate. We're just looking at a little bit of some Overwatch League companion foolishness, so
Win there. I mean, OG ends up using the beat. They go with like Terror Surge, but
appreciate it.
not able to just anybody there.
Let's see here.
That's one where I thought New York had an advantage.
Hey, we take it. +2. Appreciate y'all for coming in.
The Amp Matrix there.
Um,
I know Amp Matrix.
BAP window, BAP window, Blade is something, but then you didn't have to worry about Visor. I mean, obviously Vancouver has a significant advantage here. He's saying has to be careful, no Helix.
3 kills to 10, favoring the Vancouver Titans. After that last
It's a good Visor. Even at this range, it's going to cause a big split, cause a lot of attention. That's really all the Visor's for. The Blade should be the one getting kills. The Visor's just to put pressure. So reasonable trade for Vancouver. It is a 3-for-1, but I'm not confident that New York will be able to get a comfortable touch. And they are trying to chase Saggers here. They are trying to take an early fight. I don't even know. I think it will be just OG that can touch, but that means that Vancouver will take a 5v4.
Now where they're not able to finish him off.
Well, maybe I'm way underestimating this. Maybe they can touch. Yeah, I think they can touch. Yeah, see, I'm way off here. I'm misjudging my respawns. My bad. But they catch them on the rotate, and this is it.
now, look at Lucio.
No, they're gonna give up the point, right? And then actually come down and play for the point. So what? This is
It's a fine blade, actually. A really good blade. What the heck? Holy crap! No way! No way! What a nice blade from Psycho there. Actually, unbelievable clutch there. And this is still winnable because we got an ultimate coming in here. I don't know what happened there, but there is no way that New York is still in this at all. And I think this is going New York's way. I think this is it. This BAP window, well, Shockwave dies somehow. And Shockwave, okay, then the beat comes in. Crap, man. That you got a feel for Psycho there. Like that was about as good of a trade that you could expect, but Shockwave getting picked a lot first. Look at that. They're like, they can't believe it, right? They can't believe it.
fight where Psycho goes to the point and he starts taking it. So you know what?
But yeah, I mean, New York just a lot worse in these ult trades. A lot worse. A lot of ultimates that just didn't really hit and poorly timed as well. So, yeah.
It was pretty decent.
Your ears?
Ellen trying to make a play there.
Why?
Still, when
But yeah, by the way, how's my mic sound? Am I like assaulting people? I toyed with some settings. I got some help with some settings and stuff.
So between them have about like 11k healing. New York, they have like 15, 16k healing. So way more.
It's okay? Okay.
The DPS on New York find 2 and 3 kills respectively to Heesang's 12, Sugar Free's 10.
Ooh, that's a nice boot from Kellen. It's a shame it still hits Psycho, though.
Job of getting them
Forces the ice block out.
for 6
It peaks a bit. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's unfortunately the mic itself, which I can't change. But it's better than my other mic. A lot better. But, okay.
self-sufficiency.
Why do you think Fitz is being subbed out? That's because Lucio. It's because you need Lucio in this game mode.
efficiency where
And Fitz doesn't play Lucio.
you're having to build up this charge and then like land these rail shots and you're not doing that.
Did nobody hear what?
You're gonna lose in a big way in terms of the damage.
Oh, we're definitely gaslighting you, Matt. For sure, we're gaslighting you. How does it feel, old man? Oh, how the tables have turned. Why is Shockwave and Sojourn over Fitz? It could just be a communicational thing. Could be something. I mean, Shockwave is a really good Sojourn, so. Or was a good Sojourn. Maybe I'll take one. Harzik Masters with Ryan. What are common mistakes Ryan players do in the higher SR? Probably your ability to adjust playstyle versus what you're playing into. Ability to take space, control high ground, pin on DPS, things like that. But outside of that, I'd have to see some gameplay. If you would like, you can drop a replay code with a timestamp and ask Spilo, and I might be able to look it over, assuming it doesn't get wiped. Lucio is a bard. True. That's okay. Thank you for the sub, Sam.
For all the great content made.
Dude, it's just, what is this tuning, man? What the? Why are you cursing me? Why are you cursing me? Thanks for the 7. I cast Fireball at the group of Goblin Spilo. Roll a DC 15 dex save, please. All right. Dice roll. Or roll a die.net. All right, guys. Dex save. Am I going to live it? Frick! I rolled a 7. I got hamstringed. I lived, but I'm going to be hobbling for the rest of my life. Dang it, dude. Dang it. Speaking of dice, that was my secret weapon when teaching middle school math. Nothing motivated kids like being able to roll some dice and get some fruit snacks. There you go. It. What's the next map? Esperanza. Sky Industries. No, I think it'll be more map dependent Iced Tea. I think the Lucio comp's too hard to work on some of those escort maps. Like, it's really hard to, like, actually get close the distance. But I think it depends on the type of Lucio composition. I'll leave it at that. Sugar Queen Orisa. Okay. I mean, yeah, nothing crazy here. Just what we saw the last round. Same reasoning as last round. There's nothing really different or new or unique here. You got your drops. Congrats. New here, by the way. Haven't been able to catch it. Glad to be here. Welcome, mate.
In the past, like, I just can't, like, I just think it would be super bizarre, like, really difficult to kind of be able to just jump in the middle of a series.
I used to make up stories back when I was teaching kids mixed martial arts. We do our mat chats, talk about, like, different virtues and stuff like that. And telling stories to kids freaking love stories. I would just make them up on the fly, tell them about, like, dragons and stuff, and, like, talking dolphins and, knights fighting and all sorts of crap like that. Monsters, stuff like that. Kids love that stuff, man. It was fun. That was probably my favorite part of teaching, was honestly just talking with the kids before class and telling stories.
control of the bot and that side of the map, and then the next time they go to engage, it's actually a nice Mei wall there from Psycho.
All right, well, first fight went. Sadly, I missed. It looked like a couple of funny rotations. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is just different styles of the same composition. It's going to be more about execution than about the hero picks itself. The interesting thing is that they're really putting their soldier on an island, which I think is pretty cool. It definitely leverages the strengths of the character. Say what you will about Heesing's soldier, he's at least playing the hero to its strengths. And I think that's kind of like, that's where Vancouver are finding some success with it. There's Fitz on Sojourn, by the way.
It's not a ton of
Greedy, but he has a good lamp spot, so he can get away with it.
push that in, or the Matrix up in the high ground. It's so aggressive right in his face. Just spins him off of it, right? So they don't really get anything.
Snipies. Heesing gets caught with the pants down.
It'll be impossible to move off the high ground once that air matrix is set up there, but
They're going to hard commit here with the Fortify advantage. Punk is 1 HP. That's it right there. They're going to commit Sojourn here, which is pretty unusual.
So after this fight, nice shot there by Fitz. Now you can start to get the bot moving. You may actually
Strange, to be honest with you guys. It's not the first time I've been kind of confused by New York's ult use here in fights that either feel lost or won.
they felt like they had no options outside
Did stories have morals?
and throwing it
I mean, yes. It was a martial arts thing, so they always have morals, right? True story. The guy who owned the chain of martial arts studios that I worked for, it wasn't really a chain, it was a two location thing. Really great guy. One of my good friends, one of the best adults I've ever, just a great guy. Anyway, Heesing goes too early, gets caught with his pants down.
going off in an
Beat for Blade. Beat response.
the barrier though doesn't catch
Blade is shut down.
Sugar Free was
I'll remind me the story in a second, though. I got a funny story to tell you guys.
rather the immortality field, and then gets punished by Fitz anyway. So creative all of
Oh, gosh.
Genji and live to tell the tale, turn it into a
That's something else, though. True story. No, Punk doesn't swap. No way Punk swaps. Oh, Punk does swap. Okay.
I mean, it's going to be Punk.
He told the story of the original Santa Claus, but included something about how the parents fell into like icy water and died, and so that's how Santa Claus like wanted to help other kids. Basically, long story short, he basically told a bunch of kids about parents dying, plunging to their drowned deaths in the middle of an icy river. Yeah, that didn't go over super well.
the Titans have no choice but to try and get him.
Late Pfizer. Pfizer is good in terms of creating space, but are New York too much at a disadvantage? Yeah, actual Grimm's fairy tale, yeah.
Go for nothing. Once
The kids are like crying. Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, the Titans do not look like the same team we've seen throughout this series. He's
Momentum, ladies and gentlemen, momentum.
you'll have Sugar Free on May. So
And New York is at a great spot to just like LOS BAP window too. Like Vancouver has BAP window here, but this could just be totally kited as well. Oh, Kellen. Oh, Fitz. Oh, no. Could be a bit of a mistake there from New York to commit that hard. They really had no reason to do that.
kill for the Vancouver Titans.
And they get punished for it. That's tragic.
Finally, Vancouver finding a little bit of action, but they spent heavily in order to gain a foothold on Esperanza.
so they finally get the bot for a second. I was like, because OG ended up using sound barrier. Maybe you try and keep that fight going, but it would have just seemed like a really bad use there. As Nag come back
Okay, well, New York is in a fine spot though. Massive lead advantage.
bridge, like
Retaking high ground might even be able to stop before they lose respawn, but they're actually not going to. Which I'm surprised given the ults that they have. Maybe they track Beat and Blizzard though, so. And now New York can kind of just stalemate off of this high ground here. Obviously, pretty much mirror comps, so nothing like super crazy on either side, but just sit and shoot, sit and shoot, sit and shoot, sit and shoot, see what happens. There it is. Heesang's smoked. Now New York slowly walks forward. Don't choke. Don't lose to Beat. They use their Orisa ult. I just don't understand New York's ult usage sometimes. Nothing about this fight says let's use our Orisa ult. I know it's Orisa ult. It's not the most valuable ultimate here. But it's like it keeps happening, guys. I don't understand.
has been in the Overwatch.
I don't understand.
Feels like it would be it. I mean, they get bullied the Titans all the way.
So we'll probably see a stalemate right about where the robot is around this corner up here. They go for a little hit squad with Fitz and OG. And so the robot's going to stalemate there. Early spin, early fortify. Kellen using a lot of cooldowns early. They respond with Beat. Blizzard stacked on top. Vancouver really wants this fight win. They get the kills, and there you go. Beat used by OG. Bap window used as well. Actually, a pretty bad trade from New York there. Not loving what I'm seeing from New York in terms of old economy or from the tank corners, but obviously they're winning, so you know who am I to judge here? So Vancouver coming to this fight, obviously pretty significant old advantage here, but the May ult is really the X factor because that could just be a single-handed fight win if it lands.
Back into an aggressive position, but New York are going to wrap around behind them here and try to sail the high ground. How long can Punk afford to hold it?
They pull them off of high. Orisa ult forces Fortify. That gives Punk a later Fortify. They're unable to force Ice Block, though, and the robot is being stolen right back. There's the BAP window. There's the Soldier ult. The May ult is avoided. Both ults again kited. Both teams doing either a really good job kiting the other ults, or the other team is doing a bad job of setting up their ultimates. There's two ways of looking at it. He's saying misses rail. That's a pretty tragic. Fitz should have died there. The next relevant ult we're going to have is Window. Kellen is isolated. They know Kellen is isolated. They're going to push. They disengage. They do disengage. We'll probably see a BAP window on high ground here. Creative's calling push high, push high, push high. BAP window. I'm sure that's what he's saying. Surely. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're just going to wait and respond with BAP window here. I feel like that's not the play here. New York's position is just really uncomfortable. And yeah, there it is, right? Like, Vancouver's positioning is just so much better that New York can just, whenever Vancouver wants, they can just press W in and it's over, right? New York, not a very high level game, guys. I'm not going to lie to you guys.
Yeah, but that one kill might be enough, right? You get this checkpoint here.
Checkpoint,
New York sells your
probably Vancouver's biggest fight win so far. Checkpoint is a huge deal, and it also puts you in a pretty comfortable position afterwards. I just don't know why you'd window that late. I don't know why you'd window that late. Or at least that close. Really early May ult. Beat is good from Faith. Beat in response. Will they be able to push with it? I think the answer is no with that active BAP window. He's saying Fitz on the... Fitz is just clutching. Again, it feels like an over ult from New York, but at least that one felt a little bit more reasonable. It's a 3 for 4. But Fitz is just... Ish, man.
For some damage that could result in like Heesang picking up some kills after.
So now New York really just needs a stalemate from high ground, honestly. And because the Orisa ult pulled him off of high ground is fine. Heesang has to make a play here, really. I think... Oh, what is Heesang doing? Feast or famine, ladies and gentlemen. Fitz or famine. That was just a total feed. Like, there isn't any way to sugarcoat that one. Like, New York was in such a good position to, like, delay forever there, but then they just ended.
Yeah, so where's your path to victory here for the Titans? I think it probably relies...
Path to victory is probably the Sojourn ult here. I think he can win the Sojourn. This is a great spot for a Sojourn ult. If Heesang can hit a shot, there's a lot of space for it, right? New York needs to either respond with BAP window or just probably LOS it entirely. Right now, the robot's turned. You could Sojourn ult anytime you want now. Especially with Lucio Pocket. They actually combo it with BAP window. Weird. Not what I would have expected, but it works. Heesang, nice. Heesang, nice Heesang. And this could really go either way. It's essentially one more fight here is what we have to deal with. And you have Beat May for both teams, essentially, with the Sojourn ult being a little bit of the X factor here. Now, Heesang needs Pocket here. He's trying to put out as much early pressure, trying to build that rail before the fight starts. He gets a slide force. We don't love to see that. There's the Orisa ult. It goes in hard. The Beat is in response. They're able to save their lamp, though. There's the window in response. There's a cat, or the Blizzard in response. It catches Crim, so he doesn't even get his lamp off in time. He does, but it doesn't actually hit him. It hits. Will there be a response? The Blizzard in response does hit Fitz. The Beat is there, but it's a 4v4. Sugar-free, no Ice Block is going to die. It counts on an overheated Punk. Almost has his ultimate, but he's not going to build it in time. They have an advantage to respawn, New York does. Punk does get his ultimate in time, and he gets everybody relatively low. This could still go either way. Khaled is low. They are able to get the touch. They get the kill, and OG, he's saying, no way. Orisa's 1 HP. It dies literally 1. Come on, Faith. Their Tracer coming back to touch will be here soon. He misses the rail. He's 1 HP. The ultimate is used, but it's not enough in time. Oh my goodness gracious. This is still winnable for New York here. They have the respawn advantage. Callan's going to go ball. Psycho will touch. That's going to be deflect. He's going to need to leave point pretty soon. They don't put any pressure on him, though, so he actually stays. We're at a real risk of a C9 here. Early lamp put out. Faith is going to build beat. Will they be able to keep Punk up? They're not. They need to touch immediately afterwards. Faith needs a beat, and he doesn't save Crimson. There's nobody to beat on. The squishes are Fitz goes. Oh no, Vancouver. No, just not near enough pressure off of that final touch there. They just don't do anything to anybody, and that hurts.
It's a New York map win, but it almost doesn't even feel like it.
Like that touch from Psycho and just no punish from Vancouver at all. They just don't do any damage. I don't know if it was the characters that they were playing, probably the Trace or Sombra coming back, hard to put any direct pressure. But man, that one hurts. Fitz plays pretty well. Kind of really messy stuff from both teams. You know, a lot of teams, you can kind of see that a lot of these guys have just been putting a lot of time into other comps. I mean, at least I'm hoping that's the case, because some of the old economy and some of the stuff here is just some goofy, just some mess. You know, yeah, he's saying he didn't play well that last fight. You know, that was a very entertaining ending, though. Ooh. I think that's F. Almost perfect. What's up? Diminished chords. Circuit Royale, wow. We have two options here. We can see snipers or we can see Bash and stuff. It's a relatively narrow map. Yes, I do. You could also run like Sem Bastion too. It's the grenade though. It's mostly the grenade. But yeah, the armor regen. Yeah, so like direct nade, and like I said, also with Symmetra as well. We can see something like Bap, Iliari, Orisa, probably Sigma, and then maybe Orisa for New York, or maybe Sigma. I'm not really sure what New York will run. And then it'll either be like Sem Bastion, maybe Bastion plus Sniper. Could see Sojourn Widow. You could see Hanzo. I honestly feel like I'm sometimes kind of surprised we don't see more Hanzo at points in time, but yeah. But yeah, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Hi. What? I mean, I guess. Yeah, we have a cat, a neighborhood cat. It's kind of a stray that got dumped or got escaped. And we're trying to get somebody to adopt him because we really can't have 3 cats. So I posted about it on, but so far no takers.
It's very cute. Sorry, I just finished mowing.
This is Alex. Hello, Alex. He's purring. He's a
Wait,
kitten. He's
listen.
about 9 months old. Hi, buddy.
Say something.
He doesn't speak English.
Not yet.
He's a
He
good
sat on
boy.
the porch the whole time I was mowing, actually. He was not bothered by it one bit.
That's good. Hi, buddy.
Graham? Our cats don't care.
Yeah, our
But if
cats
anyone
are
wants to adopt this cat,
yes, upstate South Carolina.
this
Just
cat
message
is
me.
looking for a good home.
And he's fixed too.
He's already fixed. He's really sweet. He's good with kids. Our girl in the neighborhood like picks him up and
We think that it was somebody several miles away had kittens, and the mother passed away, and the coroner visited. You can put him back. The coroner visited, and then they got out, and then we noticed him when we were walking our neighborhood. We were just like, we don't know, and he was following us around, and yeah, so that cat definitely does not know algebra, right? So then I wouldn't, yeah. What song was that? Just a personal thing that we're working on. You think Zen still stands a chance? You know, actually, that's actually a good point. You could see Zen here. You could see Zen here. Zen Iliari wouldn't even be that bad, I think, on this map. I don't think there's a real risk. I didn't see the clip tragically, but I don't think there's a real risk running Zen on this map. Yeah, it's enough to keep the Sig alive. In fact, Iliari's healing is best utilized by Sigma. Because he has lots of self-sustain, and he has the turret, and then the beam is like close range, so... we could see Iliari's in, and we could see Sigma... I said the only thing maybe with the Zen is the Sim Bash and stuff could be kind of rough. You would want to be bap into that for the mobility and the lamp and stuff in the window. So that's the only reason why maybe you don't see Zen. Is BAP is going to do a lot better into any like sort of Sim Bash and stuff. Not possible to see BAP Zen. It's possible, yeah. I don't love the Sojourn, guys. Like I wish I understood why teams ran Sojourn more in the snipers. I've just never liked the Sojourn that much. I'm not gonna lie with you guys. I just think that like yes, you can build rail. I guess the ultimate's that good, but especially I just feel like there's so many characters that could just do the job better. Like legitimately, I wouldn't even mind a May here from New York, but whatever. All right, well, BAP Zen time. Let's do this.
Good.
Wrong scene. Got it. Give me a sec.
It's not a brawl setup here, really.
Oh, I need to turn off the desktop audio, y'all, so you don't have to hear it double. Hydrate, thank you. Casters should know better by now. Chat, what does Brig do in the spam mirror? Who can tell me? How do you guys not get the brig? The brig has been played for over a season and a half. Pocket flankers, right. What else does brig do? This is the best place to play brig if you're going to play brig in the spam mirror. In fact, I would go as far to say this is one of the only maps in the entire game that you can consistently play brig for spam. Ping Widow, yeah. Brig. Yes, help Sigma take space. Yes. This is one of the few matchups in the entire game where Brig can unironically help win the frontline trade. Because it's a Sigma trade and because it's extremely narrow, she's able to use cover and help win the Brawl trade, win the frontline trade with her Sigma, and consistently proc or inspire. This is something that's been played since literally 2022. Dallas Fuel, we ran it. London Spitfire ran Brig Zen frequently. Yeah, it's good. It's quite good. The old economy is also quite good. Rally is still pretty good. I mean, look at how aggressively he's holding here. Aggressively holding, aggressively taking space. And you can run Brig Zen because you don't need a lot of healing. Now, they're running Bat Brig, but that's a comfort pick thing. That's because they want the lamp. It's because Crimzo is a better Bat probably than he is a Zen. But Brig Zen can work here as well. But Brig is fine here. Especially considering that they can't play Bapson necessarily because, Faith, hero strings. There's Psycho on the May. See, I told you guys. I told you that this Sojourn Widow stuff was shenanigans. At least in this day and age, I just don't know. I think the Sojourn May at least makes a little bit more sense because you got Fitz in Sojourn, but I just don't see any reason why you put Psycho in Sojourn. I don't get that at all. Not when Psycho can play Genji, when Psycho can play Hanzo, Psycho can play Mei. I don't get it. Oh, Punk gets RKO'd. Trance still forced, though. Sojourn ult used as well by Fitz. And then he does get the angle for the shot. Heesang kind of gets caught in the middle of nowhere. Bat Lamp is late. Fitz does int, though. And now all of a sudden, they might snap back. Lamp is forced. Shift is forced. No rock. Sugarfree is killed, though. But Vancouver should be comfortable to hold the space. They could drop in the tunnel if they need to. They will need to, but they should be okay. So really not even that bad for Vancouver. And they're going to come back a little bit faster because of the respawn advantage. He's saying it's one shot by a rock. Ouch. Flank push. The rally is late, and that one is going to really hurt for Vancouver. You cannot waste your rally like that. That one hurts. Why not Widow Hanzo? It's just probably the threat of people being able to push into you in close range. Like, teams have gotten pretty good at being able to close the distance safely with these Genji Brig comps, so it might be a little bit too difficult on second point. It might be too easy to close the distance. Bat Brig is the same logic as Brig Zen, but hero strengths incorporated. Faith is dead. He's saying it's a huge kill, though. Yeah, I don't know how that happened. How my guy gets a sightline for that is actually crazy. But New York is going to have to give up space here. And Helen is very low. They're going to use Sojourn ult at a pretty good time here, I think. Bap is back. I think there was an opportunity to push there. They don't use it. They get the one shot on Psycho. Psycho does get the Blizzard off, though, and Crimzo is going to be frozen. That's Lamp comes off, though, and he's able to stay alive. Punk dies, man. And Vancouver really can't snap back. They really just need to chill here. Hey, Captain. Yeah. Brick can work. Brick can work. Closes the distance, pockets your DPS, helps win the frontline trade on this map. It's something that's been played in this map for years. I guess not years, but year and a half. Cullen is dead. Oh, no. No. They get the lamp out just in time. I didn't think they had a lamp there. Yeah, Fitz is crazy. Who's my favorite MMA fighter? I don't follow MMA a lot. I was never a big fan of the actual... I enjoyed watching like highlights and stuff, but I don't really enjoy the egocentric MMA stuff. I don't like the personalities of most MMA fighters. Widow's fine here. If you got no ultimate, you got to try something. Faith is dead. And that's it. He said gets to give a big kill. And Punk may be able to touch. Nope, Crimso's dead. That should be it. Yeah, Vancouver. I mean, obviously, one of the more difficult points to retake here. But Vancouver really makes it harder by fumbling a lot of their ultimates. Sojourn ult ends up not doing anything. The blades never really worked particularly well. Both rallies were wasted. You can't do that on that point. You just can't. Wonder Boy? I've never even heard of Wonder Boy, sadly. How do you build real consistently with Plague versus Sig? I mean, you don't. You don't. I mean, obviously it's easier for the defender because you can take angles around Sig Shield, but yeah, that's one of the reasons why, it's hard. It's hard. Nothing, no. Jeez, man. Am I missing something? Or I was gonna say, are the headshots not showing up in the kill feed? That's crazy. That's crazy. Fedor is still the best MMA fighter in there. Who's Fedor? No, I know the name, kind of. You're just playing for building ult? I mean, yeah, mostly. You're playing for building ult and like actually making the rails matter when you do hit them. The only thing that I can think of with the Sojourn is that you don't have to worry about like them swapping Genji because you can always just shift away. And it's definitely a hero strength thing. Like when you have somebody like Fitz playing Sojourn, then yeah, sure. You know what I'm saying? Is Fitz going to be as good at the other characters? I don't know. I assume not. Bab's in the response. I like how aggressively Vancouver's holding this choke. That is definitely the location where they're going to be the strongest, is holding that choke. If you get Babs in that long sight line, you just basically give them the point. Basically, if Vancouver does not hold this choke, they do not get two fights because the long corridor, the tunnel that happens right after the road, right after this curve, is such a long sight line, it's hard to get good break value. Cheers, Vonksy. But yeah, like I feel like this is the Brig comp has to push forward and hold this corner here. They don't have to push past the choke. They just need to hold the choke. Otherwise, Brig's value is a lot worse than Zen's. Greedy positioning from Heesang. They're going to respond with rally and push afterwards with Sojourn ult. Window is broken pretty quickly there. Nice shot from Heesang there. That one had to hit. That's a fight winner right there. And Vancouver's doing a phenomenal job stuffing this choke. They're doing a great job stuffing this choke. The VOD Discord server, your visitors. Cheers, mate. Cheers, Pereira. Yeah, that's true, Ice-T. And even if Vancouver loses this has been an extremely successful first defense. Like, winning 2 fights here is, like, ridiculous. Like, flank blade, ladies and gentlemen. That is something we love to see. Another free fight win. Ults or no ults, Vancouver's hold here has been one of the better first defensive holds you'll see in a while. And what Vancouver needs to do here is Vancouver, I think, needs to go aggressive again with another flank. They need to try and one-shot somebody in the flux. And even if they don't win it, you need to get 2 ults out if you're Vancouver. 2 ults. You need 2 ults. There's a flank response. They're able to catch 1. There's 1-2 ults, so now Vancouver can afford to lose this. Will Vancouver even be able to kite out, though? That's the problem. I don't think they're going to be able to. Yeah, so I think that's it. But Vancouver, they get what they want. And they also get the trade on Kellen as well, which is, nice little trade there. And a trade on Creative, which is also sick. And then now you're going into this fight here where it's like, okay, yes, there are a lot of ults, but it's theoretically, you've got a BAP window, you'll have a Sojourn ult eventually, you'll also have a rally eventually. So you're probably not going to win this fight, but there's a chance. Now, the one thing that Vancouver have to understand is that Punk is dead. Punk is dead. I don't see any way that with Flux, Mail, that you're going to be able to keep Punk alive. So how can you get value apart from Punk? Because Punk is not going to live this. There's an early BAP window. I actually like that to get space. I think you need to try and get space so that your Sojourn and Genji can get an angle. That one kind of hurts. Okay, so they actually don't get that much space out of it. There's the BAP window in response. There's the Flux. They actually flip to backline. The Mailed is used. Will they get any value elsewhere? No, the backline is going to get caught in it. And it's not a great trade for Vancouver. Oh, they're going to actually survive long enough to pop rally, though. Winnable, but they got to go now. Like, you got to go now. You're down one. You can't sit here and still... Well, he's sing? Oh, no. Oh, guys. I just don't love that. I mean, Vancouver had to flip backline, go aggro, find a pick, and they didn't. And then they also threw Rally and Sojourn ult. Yeah, Vancouver's decent. Heesang slides out. He'll get pocket from the BAP and the Brig. Brig rotates with the Sojourn, so the Genji can't push. Or the Genji, what am I saying? The anybody can't push, really. Blade pushed. This blade must work. It does. And he's traded. Trance comes in afterwards, though. Not near as clean as we would have liked. That's going to force the Flux out. The Flux is good. Wait, did he miss it? He might have missed it, guys. He might have missed it. Creative must die. Creative must die. Creative must die. Creative must die. Otherwise, Vancouver are screwed. Oh, no, guys. Disaster. No way. And now Vancouver walks into this fight, and not only do they have to worry about touch, but they're walking into Flux and Mail. This is it. This is it. This is it, guys. That's it. That's it. I'm actually kind of surprised at how close New York stuffed that choke, but yeah, that's it. Vancouver fumbles it, man. Just really sloppy ult play. Thanks, Rat. I appreciate it, mate. Fitz popping off, but I mean, it wasn't just Fitz, you know. Psycho also playing well at points in time. Callan, OG, Creative, the whole gang. Let me give credit to New York, y'all. Being even mid-table, 7-9. I mean, come on, y'all. Wait, is that it for the Glads? Wait, are the Glads done? I haven't followed this as much. Okay, good to know. Glads have to win against Boston. Gotcha. Yeah, Glads, man. Glads, what a... Oof. If Justice win, it's over for Glads. Wait, who are Justice playing? Rain. Toronto. Doable. Toronto's pretty good. So it's possible for Gladstone. Yeah, for sure. You know, I was thinking about something, y'all. Here's a question for you. Why does everybody care about mechanics so much? So, like, if you're like, I mean, even look at the match that we just saw, right? Like, everyone was popping off on, like, freaking out over the Sojourn shot, you know? So, like, why are mechanics so important in Overwatch? And I think you can think about it and be like, the game is like really hard to aim with, and like, you know, the dopamine of hitting the tickies. But I think one of the challenges, I think, as like, one of the challenges as a coach is like understanding that like people are always going to try, like inherently going to try and go for the play that feels the best mechanically. Like, let's be honest, mechanics matters a lot in Overwatch 2. But not only does it matter a lot, it also feels the most fun to go for. Like when you have a great positioning, a great like spot with like cover or corner or something like that, and you win a fight because you survived, you don't go, dude, sick. I'm the greatest of all time. You don't brag about your positioning necessarily, unless you're like major nerd, you know what I'm saying? So when we talk about like the problem with mechanics is that it's the most satisfying skill expression in the game. And the reason why that's a problem is because it will put your emphasis on something that may or may not be the most important thing and most impactful thing for you to be focusing on. So when you talk about mechanics, the problem with mechanics is that it's because it's the most satisfying skill expression, it gets sometimes a disproportionate amount of focus and a disproportionate amount of positive reinforcement. Again, if I do a really good job with Ana and I have like really good positioning, you know, am I going to remember that game for a long time? Maybe, maybe not. But if I play like a bot, right, and I'm like standing in the middle of nowhere, but I hit like a 360 sleep dart, you know, okay, you didn't see that. I'm going to remember that game a lot more. Even if I fed the rest of the game because I hit that one Nano Blade Genji sleep dart. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I think it's just, you know, what do you do with this information? I don't know. Like, I don't know that there's a lot you can do. I think keeping that in mind and trying to, whenever you're trying to work at something like your positioning or cooldown usage or your ultimate usage, like trying to congratulate yourself or try to point out the objectivity of your value. Like if I'm playing Uncover and I avoid a death, I should go, wow, that's really good. You know, it's like people say that being a nice guy doesn't always give you a lot of positive reinforcement in real life necessarily, but it's still the right thing to do. And I think that's kind of the way I look at positioning, right? Like, let's put it this way. If you own a muscle car and you got a babe wife and you're making six figures, you know what I'm saying? Does that make you successful? Not necessarily, but that's a lot of what we visualize when we picture success, right? And I think that's not good. And we should do our best to try and think about success in the game as being something that's more objective than just, you know, a crazy mechanical shot. And see, that's the thing, is that's also what wins games too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not sexy to position well, but it's going to win you games. It's going to win you a lot of games, you know? You know, being smart about how to use your cooldowns or making good decisions or about tracking threats or ult tracking or something like that. It's not sexy, but it's going to win you games. So I actually think there's like two different types of people. There's either like people that do things like that without even realizing that they're doing it. Like they position well just by like, you know, just through accident, almost like through trial and error without even realizing it. And I also think that there's people that are, they're able to find satisfaction about doing the little things right. Like if you want to be successful, right? Like in Overwatch, if you find satisfaction out of positioning well, then you're going to be successful in Overwatch. If the only way that you have fun in a video game is through like killing six, then you're not going to be very successful in Overwatch. I think part of it, psychology is strength, as with any competitive sport. Humans subconsciously value something that indicates a certain type of physicality. I feel that definitely plays into it. Mechanics become the equivalent of physique. No, I agree, right? If you I mean, people do this in MMA all the time. Like, if you're trying to find out like who's going to win an MMA fight, right, on TV, look at the guy that looks more jacked with a lower body fat percentage, right? You're like, that guy's going to win, right? But it's not really the case, is it? You know, the technique and the other skill besides like the physique is a lot more important, right? But that's what we immediately gravitate to. And I think that's the same thing too. Like when you want to watch like a high level player, what's the first thing you look for? Oh my gosh, look at those crazy shots that they're hitting. But that's obviously a lot more complicated than that. Am I talking about atomic habits subtly? I don't know. Am I? No, I agree, Matt. I agree, Matt. Here's the thing. There's always like a balance here, right? Like I see people think that like mechanics don't matter in Overwatch, but that's like literal horse manure. Like mechanics matter so much in Overwatch, just as much as like any other first-person shooter. The fact that the difficulty of hitting the targets is what's so important, especially in like Overwatch 2 in the whole 5v5 format, right? But I think like as always, you know, mechanics matter a lot, but they always will feel like they matter more because of the satisfying expression of skill that mechanics provide. And so if you want to improve, if you want to rank up at Overwatch, you need to make sure that you're not overvaluing the dopamine-inducing things, the directly dopamine-inducing things, and undervaluing the less flashy, but more valuable things. And I think that's like a good life philosophy too, right? He talks about when pride comes with habits, they become more important. Right. That's actually true. I haven't read the book yet, but that is true. So like if you're able to find some sort of pride in your positioning, in your cooldown usage, in your decision making, then it's going to be a lot easier to stick with it. Right? Yeah, I didn't even think about that though. Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point, Serpent. Like mechanics matter the most in Overwatch 2, I would say, more than any other skill. But that doesn't mean that they're not overrated, because I think that they are. Not by the people that are watching this Twitch chat necessarily. If you're in my streams, you understand the importance of game sense and stuff, but largely as a whole. And I think it's more of a philosophical question as to why that is. And I think it's because we attribute mechanics to being the more visible, sexy representation of skill, not necessarily the more consistent, concrete representation of skill. And I want to do a video on this sometime. I got to put more thought into it. But I want to do a video on like why Overwatch 2 fails to positively reinforce. Because I think that ties into a lot with it. You know, honestly, maybe we should just talk about it now because we're here, you know? Because if you think about it, like this whole mechanics discussion, we're talking about like why mechanics matter the most. But like it's really a larger conversation about like how do video games reinforce you for doing the right thing, right? Like think about like in Overwatch 1. What did you get in your stats? You press tab, you got kills, you got deaths, you got objective time. Now, early on in the game's understanding, maybe by bot devs, say what you will, people were like, oh, objective time. You know, I got a lot of objective time, so I was playing the objective. I was helping my team, right? I got gold objective time. But that became kind of a meme later because we all realized that, like, you know, objective time doesn't really matter. Like, it's about the quality, it's not the quantity, you know, and all that kind of foolishness. And some people shouldn't be touching the objective at all. But then what we've been replaced with is, like, we have scope accuracy, biotic nade kills. We have more and more helpful stats. But ultimately, especially when you think about a team game, it is really hard to quantify the value that you're bringing through stats. Because the first stats that we look at are damage, eliminations, assists, things like that. And at least one or two of those are fairly useless, right? Like you could farm damage stats by playing more aggressively and demanding more resources. You could cut down on your deaths by disengaging fights that are already lost instead of dying at a point, which is a good way to cut down on your deaths, but doesn't really provide any significant meaningful benefit to your team. You can have higher sleep dart accuracy if all you do is you sleep dart the tank. Watch me miss this. I just knew it, right? But the sleep darts aren't maybe not as impactful as like sleeping a DPS or sleeping a support. You could get a lot of biotic grenade kills, but maybe you're dying at the expense of using your biotic grenade aggressively. And I'm not saying that's always the case, but like basically stats don't tell the full story. But that's the problem with like team games in general, is that the reason why that's a problem is because then how do you judge an objectively good performance from an objectively bad performance? Like, how do you use Sleep Dart? What is a good use of Sleep Dart and what is a bad use of Sleep Dart? Now, you guys, again, on my channel, know the answer to that, or at least have a pretty good guess. And the same thing goes with Biotic Grenade. And you guys know what good positioning for Ana is and what bad positioning for Ana is. But the thing is you don't always get the reinforcement that tells you that that's bad or that's good. For example, if I use my Sleep Dart in tank and I walk away with 75% Sleep Dart accuracy, I might think that that's a good use of Sleep Dart. But what I'm missing out on is the value that I'm getting elsewhere that may not be as immediately obvious to me. Another great example is, I don't know if you guys heard me talking about this a couple of weeks ago, but I was coaching a Mercy player and we were talking about Valkyrie, right? And he was saying like, how do I use Mercy? And I swear, every time I get asked that question, I'm like, how do you not know how to use Mercy? Like, isn't it obvious? Like, you just Valkyrie when you use, or how do you just, when the fight starts, use Valk, right? And then I realized the problem is with Valkyrie is that because it doesn't directly counter anything immediately off the bat, it doesn't feel like, oh, I popped Trance, I countered their Blade, I countered their Orisa ult with Beat, or I rallied and I pushed and I killed somebody. You pop Valkyrie, you give your team like this passive advantage, right? For an extended period of time, which is really powerful, but you may not feel the advantage that you give your team. You know what I'm saying? The advantage that you give may not be like positively reinforced, right? You might be like, oh, we won the fight, but I don't feel like I did anything to contribute to it, right? Now, some of you might say that's also part of Mercy's problem fundamentally, but I think it goes a lot further than that. We talked about Winston the other day, right? The problem with tank is you could dive a Reaper, Bastion, Torbjorn backline, force all their cooldowns and live, then jump out and get 0 dopamine from tickies, and you only win because you forced all the cooldowns. So me as the Plat Winston player feel like I can't do anything. In fact, I am doing nothing because I can't kill anybody. But in essence, I'm actually doing a lot. I just don't realize it yet. So I guess my point is that the problem with Overwatch, and maybe just team games in general, I don't know if there's a solution to this, is that you don't always know when you're contributing value. You don't always know when you're applying pressure. This happens all the time with Tracer. How many times have you guys played Tracer, gone on a flank, shot the Bat Brig Torbjorn in the back, made them look at you for like 5-6 seconds, and wondered if you actually did the right thing? You didn't kill anybody. You didn't show up in the kill feed. You did like 176 damage over like 10 seconds. You didn't die, but you don't know if you did anything. Was it worth it? Was the pressure worth it? Did I contribute anything? You know? So that's the problem, right? Is you don't get the positive reinforcement. And this is why this ties, I think, in with the mechanics thing, is because if all you do is chase the tickies as Tracer and go for assassinations, you're not going to be playing the hero to its full capabilities, and you're going to be throwing a lot of fights. If all you do with Winston is jump on top of the Bastion because you really want to hear those tickies, and you're not thinking about baiting cooldowns, then you're going to lose a lot of games. So it almost feels like the problem with team play is the problem with the human brain, where we want to be the person scoring the points and making the getting the tickies, but we don't always have that intangible value system metric that tells us that we're doing the right thing. Think about playing a pickup basketball game. What does everybody want to do? They want to be the guy taking the shot. They don't want to be the guy covering the defense, setting the screen, or making the pass. Why just teams games, though? I think even in single-player games, it can be unclear what was and what isn't good. That's true. The problem with team play games, though, is that I think there are more intangible impacts. You can blame your teammates. You can blame, oh, maybe I did the right thing, but the enemy team popped off. Or maybe I did the right thing, but my bad teammates messed me up. In team games, there's a lot more intangible value through the support class and the tank class, where you have more value besides just getting kills. It's also through just supporting other people surviving. Like if I have a great turret placement on Illari, and it's on an angle, right? And it keeps my Tracer alive in a 1v1, I don't get any dopamine kicks off of that. At least not directly. Most people aren't, right? I'll get dopamine kicks off of doing stuff like this, right? Because I don't even see it necessarily. Because let's face it, guys, I talked about this again the other day. The problem, if we go even deeper with that, all right, you guys ready for level 3 of this discussion? The problem with that is people would rather, unironically, would rather perform well than win. You hear me? Remember we had this conversation the other day. People would rather have the impression that they performed well than win the game because they got more dopamine about it and they could feel like, oh, I carried, right? People would rather feel like they carried fill in the blank sport or game than win the game. Because it's less satisfying to feel like, oh, I was the supporter, but not the reason that we won. I want to be the big shot. Again, my analogy last week was asking you, would you rather, think back to your high school sports. Would you rather have been the big shot and gotten all the accolades and all the sports and all the support from the team and won 1 or 2 fewer games? The answer is yes. Oh yeah, you definitely would have. I know I would have. I'm not gonna try to pretend to be humble here. You know? And I played pretty, like I would 100% would have traded to be even more of a big shot, right? And obviously because it's me, I was a huge big shot, you know. But I 100% would have traded it. So that's the problem though, is because in a first-person shooter / team game, you actually have the option to, with some of your decisions, at least to an extent, to choose me over other people. You know what I'm saying? And so the game has a hard time rewarding you making the right decisions that are more supportive of your team without, like, besides handing you the W. But even then, you might not really realize that. Because sometimes you do need to be taking responsibility for yourself. Somebody who tries to play to improve, not caring about winning, is intentional. Yeah, and it's hard to do too. When I lose, I always just assume, yeah, it's hard. Alex, TFM, thanks for the raid, mate. I appreciate it. We're doing some Al stuff. We're just chatting about mechanics and stuff. Al's about to start in a second, so. Maybe the Overwatch 1 end of match cards would fix it? Yeah, I mean, who knows, honestly. I don't think that this is a problem that you can fix. I want to be very clear on that. I think it's just a question of, like, is this something that they can improve? And just, I guess, just an interesting discussion regardless, you know? Like, it's just interesting insight. And it's a good reminder, right? That just because you feel like you're carried, just feel like you perform well. Like, I realized this firsthand in my own tank gameplay, because whenever I play tank, usually Winston or Orisa, I play very resource heavy. Not on purpose necessarily, but I play very resource heavy. I always demand resources. So even when we lose, I usually have really good stats. And so what that leads me to always feel like is I feel like I always perform well, but that's because I always demand more healing resources than the average person. So, but then I have to, like, objectively look at that and be like, yo, I was forcing my supports and tanks to, like, play, or DPS to play more around me, and then, you know, we're going to lose more games because I play overly aggressive. Yeah, that's true, SG. But obviously, like, it's a lot trickier than just that. All right, Overwatch League time. Glads, Boston. This is it, guys. 5, 4. You guys can see the sync right there, so. Why is it tapping out when I'm doing this? Hang on a second. Hi, girl. Hi, baby. Okay, Baptiste. Bap is still a little bit unusual to me. Maybe it's something that they're scared of fill in the blank hero, which is why they're running Baptiste. And it just kind of like, it's like that gatekeeper of, like, you run a Bap because you're scared of Bastion, or you run a Bap because you're scared of whatever. Maybe teams have just gotten better. Maybe these guys prefer the Bap over the Kiriko. I mean, Cal, Izayaki aren't exactly like my first choices for Kiriko players. Or maybe teams have figured out value with BAP is better than Kiriko. But it's definitely an unusual choice. Initial kill on Kai, it looks like a little bit of a boot plus combo with Rail there. Nice little mini match, or mini play. The Queen versus the Orisa thing. Queen is just really fast, and Orisa is better versus Queen in the 1v1, but that's always the problem with Orisa. She's really good in a lot of tank 1v1s, but you lose team value. You lose shout value, your ultimate's a lot worse, and you're slower. You also demand more support, too, which means that your BAP has to play more complementary supplement support style than playing more for himself. Junker Queen does not demand as much healing. That's a good deflect. That's got to chop out or force out the shout and Junker Queen Carnage. Now, I did not see, I don't know if Marvel used his shout as well. Oh my gosh. You know, I will say, you guys asked me who the player of the team, the MVP. Oh, that's a good one. He needs to play his life, though. The beat for beat, though. Talk about player MVP for Boston. Oh, that's unfortunate. I think Smurf as good of an argument as anybody. The guy has been very quietly a quote-unquote budget someone, where, like, I think his flexibility on Doom, Winston, Ryan, and even things like Junker Queen have been instrumental for this team's success. And this is a team that already has Kalios on the bench, who's one of the better mechanical off-tanks in the league. Big ult mess. I didn't see exactly what happened there. But Boston does come into this fight with 2 ults, so yeah, we'll see. He was the someone last year? You gotta go to the Overwatch League stream. I'm not allowed to stream the actual thing. I can only stream the time at the top so you can sync and watch it with me. So you'll need to go to the Overwatch League live stream and sync your stream to match mine. All right, so Boston probably opens with a Sojourn shot here. Depends on how much space they get. The Sojourn ult is way better at the range. There it is. But you could also open with Blade when you get space. We'll probably see Blade as an execute there. So like now there's the shout. There's a lot of the cooldown. So then we now see Blade. And honestly, Glads didn't even play that one too badly. They do a pretty good job spacing out, not giving a free Blade. But it's just, those 2 ults are just too much when you don't have anything in response. They're going to go Doom for touch. And I don't think Glads have much to answer with here. They will be able to get touch potentially. Oh, wow, they've really punished there. But, you just don't have... Oh, they don't even get touch. And that's it. Yes, it's supposed to look like this. Sadly, like I said, I'm not allowed to stream the thing, so... I need to set up a command for that, though. That's my bad. I forget that companion streams are not super, super common. So we might see Orisa here, and like I said, you might see Mei from the Glads. I would not be surprised, just because of the proximity of the map, right? A lot tighter and a lot less flank, like mobility options, high ground options. So going more for the brawl, hit you in the face mindset. The Bastion is definitely cool as well. That's not a surprise either. We'll see how Boston plays around. They need to kind of take angles with the Genji. They take angles with the Sojourn, try to find a way to wrap around the Mei-wall. The question is, will Smurf get caught by surprise? Or Izayaki for that matter. Will they just get run into it? I don't think they will. I think Boston's too good of a team for that. They definitely see the Bastion now, so they probably don't even go top yet. See, they don't even go out, because that's going to be a wall and instant death. And Genji Lucio on the angles, they push out now. They are able to mark the Bastion a little bit. There's Hurt Form. There's Fortify. Boston's got to love that cooldown trade. They also boop the Mei onto the floor now, so Orisa's now isolated. Orisa's now 1 HP. Li Gong is going to get melted down, and Boston just plays him like a fiddle. Really well played by Boston there. Kind of a forced engagement from Gladiators there with a Fortify and Turret. I really didn't like that from Gladiators. If you see them respond by taking angles, you have to find value elsewhere. You can't just brute force on top, because obviously Boston's not going to fall for that. And so Boston just plays them out. Who's the hardest hero in the game? At the highest level, probably Tracer. Maybe Ball. Just from the sheer number of techs that character has. Will he already be played? Yes, potentially. Yes, very, very popular character. Not a must-pick character, certainly on King of the Hill, but yeah. Glads flips the point, does get the BAP window out. And they're able to get the lamp off to survive the Boston Uprising's quote-unquote dive there, and that's huge. So really nice little neutral play there from Glads. They had no business winning that fight, and that one was really important to win because that's going to buy them time to build a couple of ultimates. So they're still probably going to lose this fight because they're so far behind in their ultimates. But theoretically here, they might have time to be able to use Beat for first ult just to buy time. There's Shout used. That's very early. And that's going to put a little bit of a damper on Boston's push. Kevster's Ice Block is immediately forced. We don't love to see that. Windows out. There's the Beat in response. There's the Beat. Also gets Blade and Force Beat. And this is what I was talking about for Gladiators. You're probably going to lose this fight. And there's the Junker Queen ult as well. I'm surprised Kai's using his ult. But honestly, if you're Gladiators, you're not too unhappy about that. Because you won that previous fight basically for free, you're actually going to this fight for just one ult. For Blizzard and Orisa ult. So honestly, almost best case scenario for Gladiators there. Who's the best Bastion so far? Almost impossible to tell. Not enough skill expression in that character, and it's been too early to say. Would BAP be consideration for pressure against Orisa since she's weak to spam? Yes. Yes. Not why you're playing BAP here. It's more for keeping your Bastion and Orisa, your own Orisa up, but yes. There's the Sojourn ult. That's going to be pretty kiteable. Kevster is isolated. They need to go now. 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 There's the lamp. There's the beat May, but it doesn't catch anybody. Kevster's May has just not been it. They do BAP window, and they're able to win it out. Nice turret timing. It's going to kill Smurf. Gladiators play this one pretty well. Kevster kind of trolls the lobby there, but they're able to pull it out regardless. Again, Glad's really stealing wins here. Pretty efficient as well. Definitely cost a couple of ults, but they're even able to keep on to their Orisa ult, and Boston doesn't have anything just yet. So Beat coming up on Astro as well, and that's going to be a really important one. They need to play these short sidelines. Marvel needs healing here. They're going to take the high ground there. Again, Boston's all about diving, right? Taking the angles here. Trying to use your mobility of your Genji and your Sojourn. I don't know what happened off screen there, but Glads are doing a great job preventing Boston from taking those angles. They are stuffing them, and that's a totally free fight win. And now you're going to go into a 4 ult for 5 ult situation. Honestly, not even for Boston. Boston is not going to have time to build Blade and Sojourns for certain, at least initially here. So we might just see a Beat engage. I'm curious to see how Glads plays. I wouldn't like to see the Beat engage into the enemy Beat. BAP window's used. They kite it out. They shout. They beat. Beat will be mirrored. Lamp is used. We don't love to see that. Junker Queen ult isn't great, but it's all right. The May ult does catch Smurf. Glads pull this one out. Orisa ult for zoning. And yeah, they don't even build the Sojourn ult or Blade in time for it to matter. Glads played that one pretty well. I don't think it was Boston's comp. I think maybe some stuff happened off screen. But Glads, I think, played it pretty reasonably well there. Shurton, yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to see what Glads play here. This is Sim implies Sojourn. Why would they not play Twilight? Baptiste. They want to play Baptiste, so Izyaki's probably the better BAP. Why is the video cropped like that? Because you have to go to the Overwatch League stream to watch it. I'm not allowed to stream the video. Oh no, they go full Sebastian. Okay. Means instantly win high ground because Bastion and Orisa. But Boston is fighting for this. Boston is really fighting for this. Bastion turret form did not get a lot of value. Kevster will have it again soon. He does get it, but he gets killed before he gets value. All right, guys. I gotta know what happened there. Maybe it was the Genji getting there so fast, but Bastion, if the whole point of running the Sim Bastion is that you immediately get to that high ground there. But Genji, I assume it was Genji, just said no, and now Glads are kind of up the river without paddle. But Boston mirrors the Sem because they wanted to get to that high ground too. Definitely a weird hybrid of something that we've seen from Boston before. They TP through the choke. They might flip the map here. They get the turrets out as well. There's the early window. They commit hard. The lamp is there. It's good. Cal's not getting any offensive pressure and fails to pocket Kevster. That's a big mistake from Cal. Izayaki is able to live on 1 HP. That trade would have been huge. Izayaki is still 1 HP, but it's not going to matter. Birdring does not want to die there. That's cool, but what are they going to do when the British invade? I don't know. I'll send them. You go to war with toothbrushes, and you're guaranteed to win that one. Sim Wallace, Blade. Blade's going to be a big one here because you're going to Blade, force beat, and then you're going to beat afterwards. They actually go early to force it. Lee Jae Gong almost dies. Oh my goodness gracious. They get Astro though. The K popping off. He might die though. Nope, he's got Peel. We're good. Okay. You're welcome. Whenever the British invade, just go, "Oi, governor, do you have a license for that?" And then you win. And then the crowd cheers. I mean, Simwall is just going to shut this down, I think. There's the shout to get out of Orisa ult, doesn't end up doing jack all. The Bastion ult doesn't do anything. They do catch Bird Ring. They hit the choppity on the Kevster. They still have Lamp. They push with Lamp. Decay dies a little early, but it doesn't matter, ladies and gentlemen. And that's it. What are the core elements that are given? Kevster is historically a strong mechanical player with great flexibility. Better characters are Tracer. His Hanzo is really, really quite good. And he was like the original true flex, where his hit scan and his projectile DPS characters were really good. But he's had a tough season so far. And Glads as a whole have had a tough season. I still think Kevster is a phenomenal player, but I do think that he's had a bit of a fall off. Yeah, I think Boston just looked better here. Glads had a nice round on second, but I wasn't impressed with the support play as much. Yeah, it happens. Well, Eichenwalde. Huh. I'm gonna keep. Was it Yiska? Who is like teaching me how to pronounce it in German. Is Proper still him? Proper's still great. Yeah, Proper's still great. Team's not as good, but he's still great. Being at True Flex does mean sort of that he does plays with the cheese characters, yeah. I will say that's the one weakness of Kevster, is that he has looked not up to snuff on the traditional projectile DPS characters, at least of recently. His Mei has not looked as good. His Reaper not as good. His Sombra not as good. So, things like Hanzo, I think Genji still are quite pretty decent for him, but even his Genji has not been as good as it has been in the past, I think. Yeah, it's supposed to be a score count on the screen because sadly that's all I'm allowed to stream. You have to go to the Overwatch League stream and sync it with mine. Which, as I say that, I accidentally pause it for a brief second and, geez. So glad I actually figured out what that song was. Now, I'm really curious to see what team is playing this next map. Glads we saw played Zarya here last time. Could be something that we see again. I'm not honestly too sure. One of the problems with the Eichenwalde, and just Escort in general or hybrid is that the cart always gets to be a real problem for these compositions, because if you have tracer, you always have an answer for cart. If you don't have a tracer, how do you push cart when they're on high ground? How do you stop cart when you're on high ground? And I think that's like, it's always interesting to see how different teams either rotate, flip, or just have a different pick to kind of deal with cart. Who won first series? My Preds have been juicing. I mean, you can see it now. New York, 3-2. Vancouver fumbled the bag. I know, dude. I was not expecting it. Wait. Favorite game mode to watch? Probably not King of the Hill or Push, because I don't enjoy watching Lucio comps as much. I actually enjoy watching more of like the poke oriented stuff. I like the variety of heroes better. Like right now, for example, Flashpoint is essentially just like Sojourns and Lucios and Baps and stuff, which I don't enjoy watching as much. But yeah. So I don't know. Escort, hybrid maybe? Do you think Izyaki's better than Twilight in this meta? Probably, yeah. I mean, we know Twilight's on is phenomenal, like top 2, 3, you know, easily. But if they're, I think, I mean, obviously Boston likes him on the bat better, so there you go. This is such a cool highlight video. Kalios and Rhine. Wait, is this the Boston highlight video? Who's the best introduction video? I like the New York one, I think. Lucius function feel like it's the most irreplaceable of all heroes. You're probably right, yeah. I would have said Diva in Overwatch 1, but obviously, you know. But yeah, I would agree with you. That's a good take, I think. Which I feel like the next support they should have like a single target. Maybe, okay, hear me out, chat. What if they had a support with a single target speed boost? That was one of the things I was thinking for Lifeweaver, instead of like Life Grip, giving him some sort of like single target buff or speed boost. I don't know how you would use that, but it sounds interesting. Nano boost and speed boost somebody? Yeah, but that would take both of your supports' utility plus an ultimate. This is slight speed boost, guys. You gotta hear me out. All right, what do we got here? Ooh, super cringe stuff from Gladiators. Bastion, because choke, and Bastion OP. Kai will probably swap on second, but he might stay. I think we'll probably just see... we might see Lucio. Bap Lucio again. Smurf might want to go... I'm curious to see what we see here. Okay, here we go. I like Lat's comp into this, though. The Genji is super strong versus this Bastion stuff. Okay, well, that was quick. Nah, there's no way they play Life Wave for this. And so then they swap off of, they go, yeah, so I was going to say, this makes a little bit more sense. I know what Gladiators are playing. Bro, I'm not going to lie. These team, everyone in Overwatch League right now, I promise you, is doing at least 40, 50% guessing. The meta is going to shift every 3 or 4 days for like the next few weeks. Assuming, and if there's another patch, it's going to be even worse. Really nice job by Kevster kind of holding off backline, playing Resource Light. I say that as he dies. That's questionable from Izayaki. The reason why people pick Genji is because he's not trash versus Iliari. He can actually break turret and poke it down. He's not as trash. And people just need a flank control character. And Tracer just isn't very good right now. And Sombra just isn't very good right now. So they're going to play Genji because he's good into Iliari. He's good versus these poke compositions. He could poke out. He could also force brawls. His ultimate is also fairly decent. And yes, versus the Bastion. He's good. Basically, Genji is the flanker of choice versus poke comps in these kind of situations. And when you have like Sojourns, Junker Queens, Baps, you couldn't really run Tracer into this because Tracer would play on like isolated angles or flanks and need pocket, but the Bap Lucio can't pocket Tracer. Whereas Kai misses the bounce. He should ult this here. He really should ult this here. I'm surprised he didn't ult that there. Oh, what a blade. I mean, you saw this in Junker Queen Goats last season. I mean, this is Junker Queen Goats, but without the Kiriko. Because the Genji is just way more consistent pressure than the Tracer when you don't have a range bucket. You're not going all the way to the backline, just holding an angle. Yes. The patch is the 7th, I believe. I don't know if it's going to be Owl or not, though. I kind of hope it is, but I don't know. Okay, Glad's just running down. Smurf responds. Yeah, that was some goofy timing, bro, from Gladiators. They commit the Junker Queen ult and then beat N, but they hesitated. Did you guys see that? They hesitated, so they pushed late. Disaster, man. That Glad's actually could have really clutched that one if they executed that one better. I'm just not a fan of the DPS, some of the stuff that's being played here. I could live without Orisa and Bastion being played in Overwatch League. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, this might be a hot take, but BAP is probably the worst support that I would want to see from the Flex. I'd rather see Zen. I'd rather see Ana. I mean, Moira, okay, to be fair, Moira's worse, but I don't think we'll see Moira. Okay. I find BAP to be just such an uninteresting character to watch. Yeah, I don't think they'll do a patch. I mean, they'll do a patch, but oh, you shouldn't get your hopes up for the mid-season patch? Is it just gonna be small tweaks or something? Oh, the ego, Kev, and he gets shout as well. All right, guys. See, Kevster heard me trashing and doubting his Genji, and this is like crazy stuff. He's flow state right now. Jeez, dude. Jeez, Kev. The Mei was not pretty, but this is pretty. Oh. 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 One Kai. Oh, he misses the nade. Oh no, you gotta lead that nade. Good hold by Gladso. Really nice hold. When the Sombra change is coming? I think it's next season. I think it's next season. I think if the Sombra Roadhog reworks. Which I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have no freaking idea what they're going to do for Roadhog. Sombra, I think there's a lot of ideas that have been thrown out there, but Roadhog, like, who on earth has any idea? Shout's used, high ground's used. Like, this is where we talked about the card thing, right? Like, they're not going to even pressure card right now. They're just going to try and fight for high. They have Joker Queen ult, they have Sojourn ult, they have Beat, but Gladiators can match them toe to toe. So I'm curious to see. Shout's used, Joker Queen ult's used. Izayaki might just die here, yeah. Ooh, wow, nice little flickeroni there. Boston responds. I don't know how Glad's messed that one up. That one started off really nicely. Maybe something mechanical there, but I don't even think Glads were too unhappy with that Joker Queen ult there. Just something scooped out the wazoo, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Glads do get out of the choke. There's the beat. Yes. Bastion ult is not good. I just wish to goodness we saw more consistent good Bastion ults. Kevster gets a kill on Decay. That's it. Kai's dead. Is Hog the hero that got affected the most by the change to 5v5? I think maybe D.Va. Yeah, I'd say D.Va. D.Va's ability to assist her tank is now completely gone. Ball is just a character, a situation where I don't think Ball is a fundamental character problem. Oh, nice nade. I think it's more of just like his character just hasn't like doesn't fit super well, and like some of the stuff that we've seen. But yeah. Now the question is would. If we see this map again later, will we see a Mei swap at any point in time? We won't see it from Glads because they can't play Mei. But if we saw a better team here, I feel like Mei would be good here. Li Jiegong gets caught with his pants down. Nice. Not a terrible hold from Glads. The problem with Ball is that his AoE value is kind of fallen off a little bit in Overwatch 2 because there's fewer targets, there's fewer grouping up. And so he basically goes for squishies, right? But if Ball is too good at killing squishies consistently, then he's unbelievably broken. I have to check. Yeah. Somebody throw Yeedle's video in Hammer Time, will you? Somebody mentioned it earlier and I totally forgot about it. Will somebody throw it in my Discord? Oh, this is it, ladies and gents. Check it out. You ran out of mouse pad there, you see that? Probably, honestly, we'll just see a mirror here again. I'm curious to see if Kai will go back to the Bastion. I think it's less likely, but it's possible. Okay, there you go. No, I don't think so. Not with the overheal and overhealth. Yeah, see? Look at how greedy Kai is with that turret form. Waits for shout, waits for pocket, then blows it, right? I mean, it's pretty good discipline from here. It's just a shame that they don't get it more out of it. They do get a kill though, which a kill is helpful here. They're gonna try and chase, and I don't know. Okay, they will get the kill. Okay, thank you, man. Right, that's the problem with ball. Without CC, you know. Forcing Decay out, that's really, really nice. Decay's all the way out, that's going to allow them out of the choke. They do use their turret form, though, and Boston does not use their shout, so Boston's going to push back in because they have shout, and they're still able to keep them in the choke. Kai does not have turret form. Kai does have turret form now. Now's their opportunity, and he doesn't quite get the value that they need to before it's over. So Kai accidentally using turret form there was a huge, huge mistake. Now, we could look at the micro there beyond that. We're focusing a little bit on the turret form, but I promise you that's what Boston's looking for. You look at shout, you look at turret form, and you look at lamp. A lot of ults fixing to come in here. Glad's got to be really careful here. We might even see a Bastion ult early to see if they could force something out here. A little soft push, maybe a focus on BAP. Blade for blade. And they... Oh... Okay, so they just take the L. Beat blade. Oh yeah, slight guns damage buff. Yeah, true. Is Junker Queen meta right now? Kind of. Kind of. She's popular because of her team utility in Overwatch League right now. I wish to goodness people would actually use the ultimate. He almost got it there, but he still didn't quite do it well enough. Smurf might die. No. Oh, reflected grenade. That was almost bad. Sojourn ult, beat and bird ring gets rushed. Will they get value? They need to get value in about 5 seconds, otherwise it's lost for Glads. And I think it's lost for Glads now. Oh, no. So, reasoning for me, without looking at anything else, is if you beat Sojourn ult, you know what? Actually, they did get the value that they needed because they got the space that they needed. Because you need to rush down the Sojourn and either get a kill or choke them out of space. And they did the latter, they didn't do the former. What do you think would make more sense than Junker Queen? I don't think anything would make more sense than Junker Queen with the compositions that you're running. This is what these teams like, but this meta is far from solved right now. Far from solved. Ah, Smurf, man. Yeah, that was huge for Glads. Kind of resetting the old economy here is not exactly great, though, because now you've got double supportal and Blade to worry about. Early shout. They get the kill on the EJ Gong. That's huge. And that costs you nothing. Marvel does a good job holding in here. They're going to try to push. It's a nice Junker Queen ult in response just to make sure. Hindsight, maybe not necessary. It only hits one, but that's hindsight. I think in the moment it seemed reasonable enough. You need to check your Overwatch League live stream. I will not be able to stream that one, sadly, for you. You have to check. That's why I have the time there so you can sync it and watch it with me. Boston has the high ground advantage. Kai with a little early ult here. He actually uses the Bastion ult to bait the beat push. Glads are super split right now. Who's going to keep the chaos focused up? Kevs are pushing cart. They actually flip. I like Kevster's positioning. Can he stay there safely? Kai misses the grenade. That kind of sucks. Glads need to get out of here. They need to get out of here because their Junker Queen's going to be... Yeah, see, this is what you got to watch out for. They needed to get out way sooner than that. They were on a timer there, and they just don't respect it. The flip from Glads was fine, but then they needed to kite out and hide. Probably flip back towards their team, towards this room right here. But yeah. Yeah, this is tough for Glads now. Kai needs to hit his stick. And Kevster really has to go to Cart now. Or Astro. Astro might not even be able to get to Cart. Yeah, Astro's not getting to Cart. That's GG's. That's GG's. Or not GG's, but for the round. Wait, what? No way Kevs gets another touch, right? Oh, he did get another touch. No, it doesn't matter. That was really sneaky from Kevster. I didn't even see him going for the touch there. Wait. Oh, Marvel. Oh, that's actually so tragic. That's it. That's it. Reverse sweep time, surely. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, Glad's supports are getting smoked a little bit. Bastion obviously has been okay-ish. I think Kev has played okay. I think Marvel's done all right. But yeah, it is what it is. Whatever happened to last show, still no idea what happened last show. Zero communication from the guard. Or Babel. Nobody knows. I think they're just hiding their bodies. Surely that's it. This has been one of the more scuffed Overwatch League teams that we've seen all year long. And the best part about it is it's not even like some no-name, like typical, Valiant shenanigans. It's the freaking guard. It's the freaking Los Angeles Gladiators. How the mighty have fallen. Yeah, Cal definitely looks like he's playing remote. Cal is definitely playing remote, which is tough. That's tough. I know the feeling of. Let's write a song, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a chord. Give me a letter. Glad's beat. Yeah. B? It's one of the harder chords. We'll do D sus2. F half. Sure, half. Okay, you guys are just trolling me. I'm not that good. I'm terrible with musical theory. Let's try this. All right, we'll start with this. We'll do. That's a nice chord. All right, then where do we go from here? We'll do with the B minor suspended. Or whatever that is. Paranoid? C minor? That transition is a little too sussy for me. Oh, that is something else. Oh. Oh my gosh. We can work with that. We can work with that. We can do it. I think it's C major though. Or it's like a C7 or something. We can work with that. And where do we go from there? Dude, they freaking have Lastro in the highlight reel! You liars! And then I'm thinking, what are you saying about that? It's kind of a basic progression, but it's... We can work with that for start. All right, something like that. What's my favorite Junker Queen skin? I'm not really sure. I'd have to look through them again. Last time I looked at Junker Queen skins, they weren't that good. How are my singing capabilities? Okay. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily, I'm a good singer, but I'm a flexible singer. If that makes any sense. Pretty good range, but not very good. I would say I'm okay. Okay, I mean, there's just no real surprises here, right? Like it's the same kind of like Junker Queen Lucio rush comps. No dive, so the best variations of the brawl that we have right now. These teams don't want to play Orisa; they want to play the Queen. Orisa could work in these compositions just fine. Kai hits a nade, and that's it. Like you guys have to understand, in the Year of Our Lord 2023, if your Bastion hits a grenade, you will win the fight. That's it. It's really just that simple. Like Bastion grenade is that potent. Yeah, you need to go to the Overwatch League stream. Surely it will work the third time. I mean, you guys pretend that like these guys are going to be able to make like mid-match adjustments. You know what I'm saying? If this is what they've practiced and they've had reasonable success on it, then this is really the only chance they have of beating Boston. You don't just go, hey, let's just put Kai and Widowmaker and just see what happens. Like, you're going to get smoked, right? Maybe they could make some adjustments to something else that they've practiced, but maybe this is all that they've practiced, right? That's a nice knife. Oh, that at Carnage really needed to hit. Okay, they get it. Yeah. Okay, nice. But yeah, like Kai again gets an early pick there. There's immediate runs over Izayaki, which you have to feel like is a mistake at Izayaki's end. That one wasn't even a crazy nade stick. That one was just a goof up. Yeah, see? The third time's the charm. That's how it works. Imagine doubting. Right. I mean, think about it. Gladiators are trying something different. They're not trying to mirror the Sojourn. Like, they're not trying to toe to Boston. The Bastion is relatively cheesy, right? It is a weird comp. It's a weird variation, right? That probably not something that a lot of teams have scrimmed versus. I will say Bastion, from what I've been hearing, is not super rare. It's something that some teams have been trying, but it's still not something you might get as much practice in. Funny Aster is dying laughing. I would love to know what that pause is all about. Shout, blade, beat, gladiators, turret, does the job. That's it. Li Gong is Li Gong. And no beat. That fight goes differently if Li Gong has beat, but no beat, no win. And that's huge for Boston, or Glads, because you 2 for 2 that fight too. Smurf also used Junker Queen Ultimate, which I don't feel was wise. And so now, not only did you win the fight, but you still have an equal ult for ult. Now, Glads need to play this one quote-unquote slow. They need to be careful. The beat engage from Boston is incoming, plus Sojourn ult. So really the backline especially... I don't understand that. I think they went for like the cheese, like grenade window shot. I probably would have preferred to play a little bit slower, but whatever. Because you're just going to beat engage and run it over. I feel like that's a cheese because they're going to lamp or shout and sound barrier and run you over regardless. Hey. Okay. Yeah, I mean, why not? If you guys are down for it, that sounds cool. Drop it in the Hammer Time channel. If I don't know where you put it before, but put it in the Hammer Time channel. That's where I'll see it. Ping me again in there if you want to. I don't really care. But thank you. I appreciate the bits, mate. Maybe it's something that we can look at on maybe Thursday. Maybe Thursday we can take a look at the code. I think that's mostly my variety day. Honestly, mate, if you're Glads here. Fast rotate to point. They hit a knife or a knife, on Cal, and that's it. And that's also turret form down. As one-sided as the previous fight was, this one is equally one-sided. Cavster does the little shenanigans. They actually use BAP window just to lock it in. So, okay. Check Discord, Palfi. You'll see it. So Glad should win this one. Beat Blade, Bastion, BAP window. Actually, I don't know. Bastion, BAP window compared to Junker Queen ult is a bit of a closer trade. So it really could go either way here. This is going to be the duel of the fates here with the Genji Blades. Let's see what they do. Blade, beat, turret form is forced as well. Basically stalemate here. But they catch... No. There's a Junker Queen ult, and that should be it. Really, Glads needed to find a way to get value out of either the Bastion or the Bastion ult. Honestly, here's what I think. I think the mistake was maybe Kai should not use turret form when they blade, because they're going to get beat anyway. So you don't need the extra survivability, extra damage. You're just going to kite it out and wait it out anyway, and then have your turret afterwards. I think that's the play. Small tweak, but I think it's important. All right. Oh, okay. Pretty much a neutral trade. I don't think either of these characters is more valuable than the other. The elusive speed is pretty important. Oh, they just give up the point. Window is late. They do get the trade. They do get another trade, and they're going to get the cap as well, potentially. No decays, just cracked out the wazoo, and that's it. Astro dies late. Shouldn't matter. Yeah, the problem with an off-angling Bastion versus this composition is that he's just too slow. Like, you could just go, oh, he's over there. All right, we'll just either speed onto him or ignore him. And usually it's just ignore him. He's not like a Tracer, Genji, or a Sojourn that can, like, deepen their angle very easily. They're going to use their turret early. It doesn't do much. It kind of forces Shell, but I don't know if the turret even... I mean, flipping point for Bastion isn't too bad, but I don't even know if that had anything to do with it. Marvel, we desperately need beat here. We desperately need beat. They don't get it. Oh, man. Bat Point was really good. His zone point creates a lot of space for Uprising to just kind of double key in. All right. Yeah. It might be that this point is just too open for Bastion to work. You need something with a little bit more speed, a little bit more consistent range. I actually like the swap from Kai here at this point in time. Maybe it just doesn't work as well on Flashpoint. Old for old here. Kev has Blade maybe in time, but it's going to really come down to just team mechanics, cooldowns, and target focus here. Beats used. Marvel ults. Lamp is there. And the Glads do it. Glads do it. Now we need to keep Kev with his Blade here. Oh, Kev. The slide punch. I mean, a huge fight win for Glads there. Like an even ult trade, and you come out with winning the fight. And obviously you go in the next fight with a slight ult advantage as well. There it is. So Boston knows this. So I think Boston's going to play cautiously. I think they're going to try and farm Window. I think they're going to try and farm Sojourn ult. I think they're going to see if they get an opportunity here to punish and catch Kevster's Blade. So Kevster has to be super disciplined here. Yeah, so they're going to try and catch it. They don't catch it. Oh, they do catch it. And they also catch the Window as well. Really unfortunate series of events there for Gladiators. Really unfortunate, and that might be the match right there. Glads just can't lose that fight like that. They just can't lose a fight like that because now you're going in 2-fight territory, and you're going to be down old economy for the next 2 fights. That's game. I think that's game. We'll see if I'm right. I might be wrong. Obviously, there's a lot of variables in play still here, but I think that's game. It's all on Kai essentially here. Kai does get a trade. This is way messier than has any right to be. No way Gladiators pull that one out. That's a huge choke from Boston. No, it's a try-fi! No! No way. That's actually so big for Glads. How on earth did they lose that, Boston? Huge fumble. Glads could disengage this. Glads could literally just run away. Glads could literally, they need to run away. Run. Oh, no. Oh, wait. Maybe the catch? Oh, no. Oh, still winnable. Oh, guys, this could go either way. But crucially, Glads have actually bought themselves back in there. Beat engage. Birdwing must die. He does die. Yo, there is no way Boston fumble this, bro. Oh, no. That's actually crazy. And that's it. So, stuff is reset here. Old economy is back and back settled out. This is it, guys. Shout. Blade. Oh, he's naded, though. Oh, that one's ugly. Glads, I think, got to play that one a little bit more cautiously. But Kevzer is just getting smoked every blade. Every single blade he's getting smoked. Ouch. Hey, what's up, zombie? Yeah, this one is rough. Blade is a big problem here because Boston's blades have been really good, their pushes so far. Shift down already, shout down already, layup down already, but they catch the aggression. Cal gets chopped, and that no blade even necessary. Oh, I guess blade necessary, just in case. This is it, guys. This is it. Hold on to your butt cheeks. This is it. This is the season for Gladiators right now. Boston looks like they're going to be fighting dirty, which I respect. Oh, no! They fumbled it! Go, Glads, go! Go, Glads, go! Do it now! Let it rip! Let it rip! Oh no, the lamp. Oh no, the lamp. Oh no, we did not lead lamp there. He's scared of Decay committing there, but that lamp's gonna hurt. The shout, the slide. We needed the lamp. We needed the lamp. No. Oh no. No. Oh no. Gosh darn it. Two die. Ouch. Two die there because no lamp, because the beat doesn't go off in time. Oh no. Oh no. Is the meta different over there? It's a little bit different. Yeah, it's a little different. Well, that's it, y'all. Put him to sleep. What a disappointment for Glads this season. I mean, really, you can't really blame it this game. It's not like this was an upset or anything. But man, like, just has to be not. This has been the season of disappointments in so many ways, and it feels so hollow in some ways too, because there's been just as many positive things. I think teams like Vancouver has done reasonably well. I think obviously, I think Mayhem, obviously New York. Even to a lesser extent, Washington, but somehow none of them have stood out as much as the disappointments have. That's it, man. That's it. That shirt from Mitch is awesome. That is crazy. Ouch. I mean, imagine that. Smurf played the match. I actually think that's probably deserved. I think Smurf played well. I think Smurf played well. I just, oh man, it's just tough, man. I think that's one of the toughest things about Overwatch League is you look at a match like this and you look at the Glad season as a whole. Do you say Kai washed? Do you say Kevster washed? Do you say Funny Astro washed? Do you say Lastro and Babel were bad? Yes, that knife is disgusting. Do you say team diff, coach diff, culture diff, unlucky, go next? Was it organizational stuff? And this is why, like, it's so hard to know, and it really is always a combination of things, right? The funny thing is that you could have, the coaching staff could have had their best year. We wouldn't even know. Kevser might have had his best year and we didn't even know. I don't think that's necessarily the case, but, either way, it's disappointing. Yeah, huge organizational issues. And that stuff does trickle down more than you'd think as well. Tragic, man. Tragic. Rip in peace. I mean, guys, how many teams have been disappointing this season? Let's actually, let's actually look at this here. How many teams have been disappointing this season? I feel like this season's just been the season of disappointments. Maybe it's just more recency bias here, but Dallas, especially early in the season. Big disappointment, right? Guangzhou, disappointing. Spark, I guess not disappointing, but consistent in their inconsistency. Houston's been fine, I think. London, very disappointing, especially with the first half of the season. You would have loved to have seen that team move away from beating the Reinhardt OTP. That very disappointing. I mean, whatever. I think performed on par. Very disappointing. Very disappointing, but not surprising. Disappointing. Very disappointing. I think honestly, okay, performed about par, I would say. Dynasty disappointing. Okay, I haven't followed Dynasty as much, but it's so weird. Like, how do you say all of APAC? I guess it's just the contenders teams have been doing well. Who's done better than expected? Is there anybody like pleasant surprises? Boston, probably. Because a lot of the early stuff was like people assumed they were going to boom. To an extent, Boston, Florida, a little bit of a surprise as well. New York, a little bit of a surprise. I think Vancouver, mostly neutral, but maybe a teeny bit. They've done well. A little bit of a surprise for Vancouver. But like, look at that, y'all. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm not talking about objectively. I'm talking about subjectively, like the impression. You guys know what I'm saying, right? So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, more than double the number of teams have disappointed. It doesn't even make any mathematical sense, man. It doesn't even make any mathematical sense. I think Valiant's performed about par for the course. And even Justice is a hard one because I would say Justice immediately. But man, Justice have not beaten anybody good. Like not even done well. They haven't even taken a map, to my knowledge, off of a good team. Don't take my word for that. But it's like even that just feels like ugh. It just leaves with a bad taste in your mouth. Yeah, Vegas didn't just suck. Vegas were one of the worst Overwatch League teams in history. I would say Vegas were probably. I mean, at the tail end of the season. Third worst, fourth worst. I would say fourth worst. Not in terms of results necessarily, but I think probably third or fourth worst. Shanghai was worse. Valiant 2021 was worse. And this is a bit of a hot take, but I remember scrimming these teams. I think Vancouver's 2021 was probably also worse than Vegas Eternal as well. You guys probably don't even remember Vancouver 2021. And there's a reason for that. It was like Changsik, Changsik, Rolf, Dalton. I mean, they even for that roster, they underperformed. You guys only remember the Titans that season because London pulled up the 3-2 on them. But that was literally the worst game London played the entire season. I was so embarrassed after that game. I was grateful for the win, but it was the worst. Guys, London Spitfire in 2021, we were not good. We did not only have not the most talented players, but we were also mentally boomed. When I joined through the second half of the season, the team was boomed. And I mean completely boomed. People wanted to quit. Nobody wanted to try. Nothing, like legit nothing. I'm surprised that we even got a win out. With the fact that we can almost beat Shock and Fuel was like that was the proudest I've been in my entire coaching ever. And as bad as we were that season, we weren't terrible in scrims. I think we had like a 48% win rate. But as bad as we were, we blacklisted Vancouver in scrims because they were so bad. The London Spitfire 2021 blacklisted another Overwatch League team in scrims. I think the Vegas Eternal were on par with that team this season. Maybe a little bit better towards the end of the year once they picked up Knife and Irony and such. Contenders teams, as far as I know, I don't even know. We almost never scrim them. In fact, it was so bad because what would happen is we'd scrim them and we'd go 3-0 the first half, and then we'd troll the second half of scrims, and people would get distracted and frustrated, and it was bad. I think Vegas went down the toilet when they fired Gittemaze. I think there's a lot more that went wrong beyond that. But I remember losing a lot of faith in Avala when she says, "Oh, in a new game, we value somebody like JMac who has more strategic knowledge than somebody with the more leadership skills of Gittemaze." And I think that's just totally backwards. In a brand new Frontier, you need the foundational leadership skills because the coach isn't going to bring a lot to the table because he's not relearning the game, but it's almost starting from scratch. And when she said that in an interview with Yiska, I remember being like, this is before the season started, I was like, that seems backwards to me. And sure enough, that's when Vegas started to completely tank. That seems like a really silly move to me. I don't know JMac that well, so I don't know what his leadership skills were like. But Paris at the time really were a lot worse going into 2022 in terms of a lot of their team play stuff. And then they really fumbled the bag because I think they just went out of the frying pan to the fire because they got rid of, like, guys, Dredro, these guys were not even bad players. These guys were solid players. So I don't know what the deal was in terms of roster building, in terms of like money and saving money and stuff like that. So I'm not going to speak, but they picked up an objectively worse roster in every position. And this isn't hindsight. I knew this at the time. Anybody that knew anything about NA contenders. They underperformed at the start of the season for sure. But these guys aren't even bad players. So I don't know. I'm just not a huge Avala fan. I had a really bad experience with her trialing with Paris many years ago. With the way she was handling the trials, was not a fan whatsoever, and haven't been a fan of any of her decisions since then. And there's a lot of other juice behind the scenes about ex-players and staff that have had not good things to say about her, and I will leave it to those players and coaches if they want to speak out. But I don't think she's any sort of a villain necessarily. I just don't think she's very good at her job, or she wasn't very good at her job. Don was a fine tank. Don was also good on Orisa as well. I like Don. I coached Don a long time ago. Don's a good guy. But yeah. Is what it is. I just feel for all the players, and I feel for the whole situation. I don't think you can put all of the blame on Avala at all. I think it's always a lot more complicated than that. I think Yiska made a good point about how, some of her moves have logic behind it. And obviously knowing what's going on behind the scenes, nobody knows what's going on behind the scenes. So I will not be the first one to throw a stone. I just don't think she's that good at her job from what I know. Yeah, Khan was at a time the second best Flux support in the West, behind Ultraviolet at the time. This is late 2021, early 2022. He was the best support. You could argue he was maybe the second best support. He was phenomenal. He was great on all characters, on his end, all of them. I don't actually know. I haven't heard from him in a long time. I poached him briefly during Phase 2, and I kept in touch with him, but I don't know what he's up to anymore. I haven't heard from him in a long time. I'd argue this BAP was better than UV. Could be, yeah. He was really, really good. Like, Khan is definitely one of those coulda, woulda, shoulda. I wonder what would have happened. I wonder what happened behind the scenes. I don't know exactly what happened behind the scenes with London Spitfire, but at least in terms of mechanics and ability to play the video game, is going to be definitely one of those characters or guys that is going to fade to the sands of time, but at the time had the potential to be one of the best. He didn't play World Cup this year, yeah. So I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, he was great. He was a phenomenal player. I'm glad Crawley got another chance in the league. I really like this guy. Really nice guy. Smart player. I think that he's a good commer as well, from what I know. I think he's done well with Valiant. Glad Wub is doing well in his new greener rosters, or pastures, rather. I think Khan was better than Crimzo. I'm not going to lie with you. I think Khan was better than Crimzo, personally. Yeah, Pepper's throwing away all the gifts, trash, and stuff.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. No, you're totally fine.
It's an ASMR stream.
Yeah, it's an ASMR stream.
So that's not-
Oni God, Vistola, Tsuna, Elivo, Neptuno. Good old Neptuno.
Also, Fats, what time you up?
Huh? I don't know. I'm gonna be done almost soon.
I guess you're there.
Kiov's hard work. Well, we're keeping the box.
I'm just crumpling up all
We're
the
keeping the
ripped
box.
up paper. You know.
All the paper and such. Yeah.
Really cool paper, honestly. That's fine.
Nagame was insane. Yeah, Naga's a good player too. Tier 3 flex DPS player. Yep. Yeah, what's up, Wayfast? Yeah, I remember Khan has more hours on Genji than he has on any other character, if I remember correctly. There's all sorts of lore with Khan.
My fingers are sore.
I scouted Khan from his Moira play. True story. Before I got signed by Uprising Academy. All right, chat. I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna toss the raid over to Avast. I'll enjoy his companion stream. I will chat with you guys on Tuesday. We'll probably review a match. Recently. Wait, what did you cash in? Push-ups? Oh crap! What about the worst timing ever? All right, mate. Remind me next time. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. We'll do a match review or something like that. Loves and kisses. See you guys later.